The Tuesday edition of the Bill Michaels Show on the air. We are glad you're with us today. Thanks for listening to us, whether it's over the air, on the app, watching us over on YouTube, Facebook, what have you. So thanks so much for being here today. Big weekend culminating with obviously football starting up, college football starting up over the weekend. The pros are getting ready to go this week. And the Brewers got a win yesterday. Everybody else that they needed to lose lost. I don't know how much it means to you. At least it gives you the glimmer of hope. And then obviously we'll give you a little bit of a weekend recap from the motorcycle ride. I'm not going to give you all the details. I'm going to tell you you're going to have to watch the video that's going to come out later today. I'm piecing it together now. But if you were a part of it, or maybe you just have a human heart, you'll want to see this. It's really, really cool. So I'm really looking forward to finishing the production on this real quick. It's just a kind of a recap, but sometimes you don't realize the people you touch along the way. And I thought it was really, really good. Really, really good. So anyway, that being said. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. There you have it. So, Ben, how was your weekend, man, overall? Right. Yeah, I heard you were having some kind of issues.
I think for Mertz and the offense, you saw really every. Saw against a poor team everything you needed to see to at least feel excited about what's to come.
I think what Graham Mertz did, I think, was manage the and not to make it sound like it's a negative. I think what Graham Mertz did was manage the game, and did it in a positive light. Didn't make that big mistake. Didn't have those ugly throws. I mean, obviously they had some big plays. Didn't make mistakes like we have seen in the past. Would you say that's an accurate account of what Graham Mertz did?
Yeah, I mean, he went 14 of 16, and one of them was a drop. The other was a tight window throw that was a good play by the DB. I don't think he made one single mistake.
I don't think that there was bad play. I don't think it was spectacular, but for the first time out, I think that you can look at it and say, yeah, Graham Mertz did a pretty solid job. So I was not, by any stretch of the imagination, I was not disappointed in any way. I was good with what they did. I don't know how else to put it. So Wisconsin gets a win. They knocked off Illinois State, and I'm happy with what they did. No more than that. I know some people were looking for some kind of incredibly dynamic offense and open up the playbook and let's see more of that pro style Ingram fingerprint. And you didn't really see a lot of that. What you saw was just a good, solid day, I guess might be the best way to put it. Right? I don't know how else to put it. Correct me if I'm wrong. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670, 38-0. They did cover the spread, so I thought that was impressive as well. And Braylon Allen, 148 yards on 14 carries, averaged over 10 yards a carry, had that 96-yard just blowout scamper, ran away from the rest of the bunch. Ches Malusi, 10 carries, 48 yards, solid effort that day. They ran for 221 yards. 221 yards. And all you can do is just hopefully watch this team get better. I thought the defense obviously played spectacular. When you shut a team out, and just blow them up the way they did. I mean, it was under 250 yards total. 186 through the air, 57 on the ground. That was it. When you give up that little and keep a team out of the end zone, that's incredibly solid. Not that we expected the Redbirds to run all over Wisconsin, but that's just an incredible effort. Jason says, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but we've seen this before from Mertz. He does well one game, then flops the next. But let's be real. The team they played wasn't exactly a juggernaut. Thanks. No, but you did exactly what you're supposed to do. No way. Because I saw some people on Facebook and on Twitter kind of knocking the Badgers, and I'm thinking to myself, why? Because I didn't beat them by 50 or 60? Go out and win the way you're supposed to win. That's exactly what they did. Not gonna downplay it at all. Just did exactly what you're supposed to do. Saw some other guys get into the game. I was happy with it. I wouldn't say it's an astounding win, but it's a good win. And it's a win. And you didn't give up anything. And your offense, for the first time, saw another opponent. Now this is one of those games, Ben, this is one of those games where the coaches say, I now have tape. You know what I mean? They now have something to look at and go, all the things we've been telling you, now I've got tape on it.
Yeah, I've talked all offseason about how important that is for Mertz, because last year they come out week one and kind of get punched in the mouth by a really good defense. At least there's a runway. I think it's even more important, honestly, after watching Saturday for the defense, because they look shaky early, some really preventable mistakes with penalties and missed tackles and such. And then throughout the game, Illinois State did have an FBS caliber quarterback in a Minnesota transfer. They could throw the ball on Wisconsin secondary a bit. So I think with 8 new starters on defense, most importantly, the tape from that will help a lot this weekend and then also going into Ohio State.
I completely agree. Speaking of Ohio State, they struggled early on with Notre Dame and people were palm to forehead for the most part. And then after that, after the initial 10 points, and Ohio State trailing at half, they came back and just dominated defensively. Ohio State put up 14 and they win 21-10, but not the most impressive win out of the Buckeyes. And Notre Dame, there are really, when you lose, there aren't a whole lot of moral victories. But I think the game on Saturday in the shoe was more of a moral victory for Notre Dame and, in fact, keeps their hopes somewhat alive, because they did go into the shoe as 17-point underdogs, hold it to 11, and played extremely well, had a lead at halftime, and I think opened up a few eyes to say, wait a minute, this team not as bad as everybody thought they were going to be, or maybe Ohio State's not as good as everybody thought they were going to be, but regardless, it opened a few eyes. So I think Notre Dame, even though they're probably going to fall when it comes to the rank, or they will fall because of the rankings, or in the rankings, but I think overall, they now, after that opening loss in the shoe against Ohio State, they have a chance to climb back in to the Final Four if they run the table. Alabama, they blew out Utah State 55-0 as expected. Georgia, they got a big win over Oregon. I tell you what, Oregon looked like a high school team. That was, if I'm number 11 in the country, that's somewhat embarrassing, man. Oregon got just their ass handed to them. Texas A&M 31-0. A barn burner, Utah, at 7 in the country, goes into Florida and gets beat by an unranked Gators team, 29-26. Michigan pretty much did what they were supposed to do over Colorado State, 51-7. Oklahoma beats UTEP 45-13. I thought another interesting game, the 19th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks favored at home over number 23 Cincinnati. Cincinnati gave them all they could handle. They got blanked in the first half, came storming out in the second half. They just ran out of gas, 31-24. Cincinnati ended up getting beat. So I'll see if we'll wait and see if they fall out of the top 25 because of that beating. But Ole Miss over Troy did not look great, 28-10. Meanwhile, I got a good one against Houston and UTSA. Houston barely survives on the road. And the other game that I thought was probably the most fun to watch, we'll say, that was the LSU game. I thought that that game was awesome. And the fact that the Southern draw of Brian Kelly could not overcome Florida State yet again. And remember, Florida State last year was going to get Notre Dame in overtime. But Florida State successful this year, 24-23 at LSU. Florida State goes to 2-0 in the season. And Brian Kelly's debut as the head coach of the Tigers down in Louisiana State ends up in failure. I loved it. That was the one game that over the weekend really made me smile. Ben, did you take some solace in that when you watched Brian Kelly and his post-game presser and his gruffiness and all the crap that guy happens to throw at the wall, to watch him just kind of go and kind of whine about his game and then blame it on his players?
I thought about you definitely as that was happening. There is nothing in this country that unifies everybody more than dunking on Brian Kelly when he's losing. Even my LSU friend who from Louisiana, massive LSU fan, he hates him. And after what he saw, he was even piling on. And then you have after the game, the Tigers' number one receiver, All-American Kayshon Boutte. Maybe this is more young kid stuff, but he took LSU out of his Instagram bio and might be opting out of the season. So it's a disaster there. Yeah. I'm happy. I knew it made you happy. So that was enough for me.
I was grinning ear to ear. And to come out again and blame his players and just no acceptance. This guy's just a ball of ego. And it's like the more he opens his mouth, the bigger ass he reveals. He's just a turd, man. He just is. And again, I don't wish any ill will on the LSU program, but you chose this devil to dance with. And I hope you go down in flames. I just do. Take a lot of pride in just watching you toil away in anonymity. So hopefully he just does exactly what he's probably a pretty good delegator and a decent coach in some rights because he's had success. Just as a human being, he's an ass. He's just an ass. So I don't know what else to say. Let's do this. We're going to step away, take a quick break, get back in. We got a lot to get to today. We're going to hear some from Zadarius Smith of the now Minnesota Vikings as he gets ready to take on the Green Bay Packers. Packers in Vikings mode, if you will. So we'll get into that discussion coming up. Also, we'll recap a little bit more of the Wisconsin Badgers and get your thoughts on Graham Mertz and the offense and the overall performance. Also, Brewers get a win yesterday. And I didn't do anything yesterday. I was exhausted from the weekend. And yesterday, I literally just laid in bed for the most part of the day. But as the Brewers got a win, I saw discussions, and I want to get into that as well. So we got a lot coming up today. We really do. A lot coming up today. Stick around. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up, and it's coming up all right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Gina Della from Pella here. Wayne Larrabee and his wife Julie took advantage of our wide range of beautiful wood designs that can be painted, stained, or unfinished to complement any decor.
We have a lot of windows in this house. You match the craftsmanship of the woodwork around those windows to a T. That's a talented group of people doing that.
We like our wood tones, and so the ability to have wood tone some places and the white windows others, it worked really well for us and allowed us to have exactly what we wanted.
Pella's team of expert installers always provides service of the highest quality, starting with an in-home consultation and ending with no hassle or mess. leaving nothing but perfect results that stand the test of time. We have the best wood warranty in the industry to prove it. There's no reason to wait any longer because right now, put no money down, make no payments, and be charged 0 interest for up to 24 months. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Get started today at PellaWI.com.
Expires 9/30/2022. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
I'm not a big believer that the Brewers are going to the postseason. I'm just not. I don't know. It seemed like when they got a win yesterday and everybody else that they were chasing lost, like that gave fandom a lot of hope, but it doesn't. It doesn't do much. To be honest with you, doesn't do much for me. I mean, I know some of you diehard Brewers fans. I get it, and I want to believe, but the realist in me says we're probably going to be watching a postseason with everybody else, and not really have any stake in the game, which is sad. For where this season was to what it's become, there's plenty of places you can point a finger, but it's just sad because you thought this was the team, this was the staff, this was the pitching, this was the offense. All you wanted to do was guys perform to the back of their baseball card, and many of them did not. Many of them did not. Just way too sporadic baseball. Not consistent enough to be what I would consider to be a champion or a playoff worthy team. If you get there, you're playoff worthy. So be it. But too many blow-ups, too many missed opportunities. You and I talk about this all the time. Think about this. For the games that, they say, well, it's a long season. Where are they now? You're 2 games out. How many games did you just pee away? Couldn't get a clutch hit. You were right there, had a win in your hand, and you couldn't get the job done. How many of those games? And then you say, it's a long season. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. No, I agree with that. It's a long season. But when you pee away games and you go, we'll get them tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Those games come back to haunt you, and now you're outside of the wild card by 2 games. 2 games. 2 games. Had you been able to get a clutch hit, had you been able to move a runner, had you been able to get a sacrifice fly, anything. 2 games. That's where your stands right now. Otherwise, if you think about the 3, 4, 5 games that you should have won but didn't, it puts you on the outside looking in. So you're saying there's a chance? Yes. I'm saying there's a chance. I'm not saying that they're going to make it. Or I'll be honest, if they do, I'll be excited. But the reality of them actually doing damage in the postseason, I think, is very minimal. Dennis says, how safe is Craig Counsell, the manager? I think he's very safe. I don't think Counsell, for his record and what he's done, okay, first of all, he's been a winning manager, and you can't dispute that. I think that for the talent he has had, not just this year, but I'm talking about years prior when they were winning, and you and I both know they didn't have that level of talent to be able to win consistently. So I think, I'm not going to say this year's a pass because the expectations were to get to the postseason and they failed, but this year's kind of a pass. And I also think that it was a complete miscalculation of the trade and what they got in return. And I think everybody is going to get a pass. I mean, David Stearns has been a good general manager. For the budget he has to work with, the talent that he's discovered, the way he has tried to stockpile talent along the way, win and stay competitive, I think he deserves a lot of credit. I think Craig Counsell, I'm not blowing up this organization because of a craptastic year, because of a year that they played half a season of baseball. I'm not doing that. This year was not the year that it was thought to be, but I'm not blowing it up because of. You don't, if your car runs great for 5 years and you have 1 year that you have to change the alternator and change some belts and suddenly it starts to sputter and you're not quite sure and you got to get a tune up and you got to tweak it a little, you don't just get rid of the car. You don't start over. So I think that's kind of where you're at. I think you don't start over. I think you just go, okay, what failed? You take a real critical look at yourself and you say, what failed and where can we make this better? But I also think there has to be a real come to Jesus meeting of what it is this Brewers team is doing. Are you, and I think this is a really fair statement. You tell me if I'm wrong. Are the Brewers financially, when it comes to competitiveness, treading water, or are they swimming for a goal? Because if you're just treading water, trying to keep your head up to where you have a little belief and maybe one year you'll catch fire and maybe the gods will smile on you, well, then don't look people in the eye and say we're competing for a World Series. That's our goal. And it's everybody's goal. Duh. Even the worst team in every league is competing for a championship. You can say that. That's what you're ultimately on the field for. But the reality of it is, are you actually going for it and doing everything in the right direction? Or are you just treading water? Are you just treading water? Are you just doing just enough to keep people coming through the gates? Are you doing just enough to put your name out there so people think you're being competitive? Are you doing just enough to keep that interest high and to give the clubhouse enough belief that they have a chance? But in reality, the stockpiling of talent from others around you versus what you have in your own backyard begins to become more and more evident. You know what I mean? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Hey, got to say thanks to our friends at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. Craig Winger and his staff did a magnificent job over the weekend between the bands, the vendors. That was the biggest, best, badass party that I've seen out there to date. It was such a great weekend at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. The riding season by no means is over. Tomahawk is on the calendar. Biketoberfest is on the calendar. There's the Medal of Honor ride coming up this weekend that is out at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. So there is so much still going on, whether it's a motorcycle you're looking for, motor clothes, warmer motor clothes as the fall months start to set in, or maybe some great gift ideas or preparing yourself for next year, trading in, upgrading, whatever it happens to be. Check out our friends at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. Go to wishd.com. That is wishd.com. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The days are getting shorter, but the racing continues at Road America through the middle of September. For all the information, go to roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back, and we are glad you're with us. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Look forward later on today, if you follow us on any of our social media platforms, look for a video later today recapping kind of the weekend with the motorcycle ride. I will say this. Our goal was to get to 800 motorcycles. We broke that record easily. It was such an impressive weekend. Easily. So I got a lot to kind of spread the word, so to speak, as we'll touch base on a lot of this coming up later on. But man, what a cool weekend it was. Just can't say thanks enough to everybody that participated, everybody that gave their time, their money, their effort. It was such a cool weekend. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, feel free to go ahead and do so and give us a shout. David says record for the Brewers versus the Central, 35-30, not good enough. They'd be better off playing other teams. Council's he's an excellent manager. He would be foolish to change the skipper right now. Anybody who thinks otherwise is delusional. I kind of have the same feeling. I think you're a little bit knee-jerk reactionary if indeed you think changing managers at this point would be a good idea. Now, it doesn't mean to say that it can't happen along the way, because it certainly can. But I don't think this is the year to do it. Now, I get that some people seem to think that, changing Craig Counsell out now might not be a bad deal, and then getting on with it and moving forward going into next season. But I'm not one to just change managers. I'm just not. I think that he has done a terrific job. I also, again, I keep looking at statistically, sabermetrically, the way they manage the bullpen, the way they manage the numbers. If you had to put blame anywhere this year, I'd say that it was a dismal failure on behalf of those that swing a bat. The ability to adapt and overcome has been embarrassingly bad as a whole. There is something to be said for on-base percentage and consistency, and this team has proven that they just, like many teams in Major League Baseball, I'm not just saying it's the Brewers, but this team this year has been an all-or-nothing team. And if they don't get home runs, they don't win. It's just, it's kind of that simple. They just don't, if they're not hitting long balls, they're not winning games. But that can be said for a lot of teams in Major League Baseball. That can be said for a lot of teams. So I'm not going to blame just the Brewers, but that's for a lot of teams in Major League Baseball. So anyway, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us and give us a shout, you can. But overall, if you had to put the blame somewhere, where would you put the blame? Where would you put the blame if you're the Brewers? If you're a Brewers fan, you know what I mean? The Brewers are 57-37. 20 games over 500 when they hit a home run. They are 14-26 when they don't hit a home run. Think about that. They're 12 games under 500 when they don't hit a home run. They're 59-21 when they score at least 4 runs. If they score 3 runs or fewer, they're 11-42. 31 games under 500 when they score under 4 runs. That's why I kept saying 4.2 runs per game. That's going to get you there on a consistent basis. They don't hit left-handed pitching hardly at all. They're 500 basically. 22-21. But think about that number. When they score 3 runs or fewer, they're 11-42. 31 games under 500 when they score 3 runs or fewer. That's the all or nothing mentality. Paul says it's time to sacrifice a live chicken and grow some marbles. Wake up the bats. I love postseason baseball. Just make the cut. Paul is living in an optimistic world. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't disagree. I'd love to see him get there. I just don't think they're going to do much damage if they do. This was from Marcy. Marcy says, bring on some postseason baseball. If the Brewers can get in, what do you think their chances are when you start to shorten the rotation? Not good. I don't think it's I'm not. The rotation can be good. Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta, Woodruff and such, but it's not good when you can't hit, when it's all or nothing, and you can't see them do all or nothing in every game. You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. So I think pitching staff probably holds many teams anywhere between 3 and 5 runs a game, maybe 2 to 4. Okay, great. But if you're only going to score a couple of runs and you can't hit and you're going to face better pitch now against teams with that better than 500 record, okay, they've actually played some decent baseball. Maybe they do. Maybe they do wake up and they kind of realize the challenge ahead and maybe things get a little more intense and they thrive upon that. I don't know. I mean, we can obviously find out here when they face coming up. You're going to face San Francisco, St. Louis, New York, both the Mets and the Yankees. And then you end the season with some lackluster teams, we'll say, with Cincinnati, Miami, and Arizona throwing a couple of games against St. Louis. But for the most part, Cincinnati, Miami, and Arizona, all those sub 500 teams, maybe you make some hay there. Maybe you wake up and you go, okay, we need to play better down the stretch. We need to hit better down the stretch. We need to be more focused down the stretch. Maybe things begin to, maybe that grouping of games ignites something and they go on a roll. Because remember, you got to be healthy. You've got to be good. Then you got to get hot at the right time. You got to get a little luck. Maybe the schedule provides the luck. Maybe you get hot at the right time against sub 500 teams. You know, we'll see. Maybe that happens, you know, knock on wood. I don't think so. But that's where you're at right now. It's just kind of hoping and praying. And that's, if you had something to grasp onto, just say, okay, this is something that's really trending in the right direction. This is going to be what leads the Brewers deep into the postseason. Then I could say, okay, but it's sporadic hitting and it's the all or nothing. And we've seen it all season long. And I'm beating a dead horse and there's nothing else there. Flip a coin as to whether or not the offense is going to show up. It's the best thing you can do.
I mean, they are 2 games behind a Phillies team that is known to collapse in September, for the record.
No, I get it. Completely understand it. I also think that while they are behind a Phillies team, they're also behind a Padres team. And the Padres, while they haven't, taken off, they've lost 3 in a row. So maybe the Padres continue to lose. Maybe the Phillies have also lost 3 in a row. Maybe the Phillies continue to lose. I also look at point differential, or should I say run differential. Look at Atlanta, plus 155. Plus 155. And the 3 teams scrapping for that wild card spot. And still, don't forget, San Francisco is only 3 games under 500. They're no pushover, but they're 7.5 back, believing that they can still find their way into the wild card. Not that the Diamondbacks can, but between Philadelphia is plus 65. At least they can plate some runs and give you some run differential. But the Padres and the Brewers are only plus 30. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what makes us think that the Brewers, even if they do get in, it creates new hope, but I just don't have a ton of hope. Especially when you look at the American League teams that are playing for the wild card. They're plus 71, plus 65, plus 65, and then plus 14 and plus 25. But the teams that are actually in it are plus 65 or better. I know it's kind of one of those meaningless statistics to many of you, but I usually teams that are in the plus minus of run differential are pretty good. Yeah, those are the ones that usually make it, and the Brewers are not one of those teams. 877-867-1670. This portion of the program brought to you by Quick Trip. Thank God for Quick Trip. I lived on that stuff over the weekend. On the run and doing many different things all throughout the city. It was such a great weekend, but I lived on Quick Trip. I just did. That's where we would stop. Hey, let's go get a Quick Trip burger. Let's go get something to drink, whether it's a sweet tea or a water or something from Quick Trip. That's where we stopped. Didn't do a lot of restaurants. Didn't do a lot of horrific food. I had a couple of those fruit cups from Quick Trip. That's what we lived on. And thanks to Quick Trip for being a part of the program. Also, thanks to Quick Trip for supplying the fuel for the big unit cruiser. Thanks to Quick Trip for just being there. And a lot still going on with our friends at Quick Trip. Go use your Quick Rewards card as well. I can't tell you how many times over the weekend picked up maybe a breakfast sandwich. Oh, so good. And then, oh, by the way, it was free. Built up enough Quick Trip points. It was free. That tastes even better. Stop in and say hi to our friends over there at Quick Trip. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
In Green Bay, here's Mike Clemens.
The Packers are getting ready for Sunday's game against the Vikings in Minnesota. During a light workout yesterday, Elton Jenkins participated, and for the first time, David Bakhtiari ran some 11-on-11 team drills at left tackle. Head coach Matt LaFleur.
Just really knock all the rust off, right? Get them reacclimated, and just get some good work. I just think the cumulative effect of having a bonus Monday and then you go or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it can add a lot of load on the guys, and you want to make sure that they're fresh and ready to go for Sunday.
Wide receiver Alan Lazard sat out practice with an undisclosed injury. Rookie Christian Watson took some snaps. He had his right knee scoped in June.
I feel really good. Definitely feel like I'm in a really good place. Definitely feel like I took advantage of the past 2 weeks that I've been back out there. I'm still trying to go every single day, and obviously take it one day at a time and prepare for this week one. But I'm definitely excited where I'm at and, excited to keep on going.
The Vikings made several moves and trades in the past week, including dealing away some draft picks to the Eagles for receiver Jalen Rieger. The Vikings' new head coach, Kevin O'Connell, asked if Rieger, who was once clocked with 4.3 speed, could return punts this week.
We're going to give him every opportunity to do that. Jalen's excited about that opportunity. I think he's got some good experience doing that. Obviously, some real flashes of doing that at a high level. We'll get him going from day one today and see where he's at going into Green Bay.
Rieger on arriving in Minnesota just days before facing the Packers.
Leaving automatically from Philly coming here, and I felt welcome being here because I believe, what's slow is for sure, what's fast don't last. So you just take it, take it a day at a time, and whatever happens, happens.
That's Vikings receiver Jalen Rieger. In Green Bay, I'm Mike Clemens on The Bill Michaels Show.
Welcome back. So the Milwaukee Brewers, they have their fantasy draft. The Brewers fantasy draft is was coming up. Lorenzo Cain, by the way, he was last year's fantasy draft champion. So Lorenzo Cain actually participating in the Milwaukee Brewers players, doing their own little fantasy draft. via football, which is kind of cool. But they are doing their thing. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Lorenzo Cain said, quote, I mean, it is what it is. That's one of the reasons we kind of parted ways. I honestly feel like I never got that respect as a veteran, as a leader of this team from certain coaches and certain upper management. That's mostly why we parted ways when we did. Interesting that comes out of this Lorenzo Cain being, kind of taking his way out of the team. He feels he never got respected as a veteran from certain coaches and certain upper management. I wonder, there's more time for this, but I wonder if Lorenzo Cain was looked down upon when he decided to bail on the team after playing a few games a couple of years ago during the onset of COVID, when everybody else stuck it out and he chose not to. I mean, he had his personal reasons for not doing it or for doing it. I understand that, but I wonder if there was some residual animosity there for some guys and people there that did it. It kind of leaves you to wonder what was going on behind closed doors, that he felt so disrespected by the organization, coaches and management. So we can get more into that, no doubt. Let's do this. We're going to step away, take a quick break. Eric Baranchek of the Green Bay Press-Gazette. We're going to be talking to him as it is now officially Packers mode, getting in the ready for Vikings mode. We'll get into that discussion coming up. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. A lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. 1 hour down, 3 more yet to go. Coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, we're just 5 days away from the Green Bay Packers opening up their season against the Vikings at U.S. Bank Stadium. And some good news, all-pro tackle David Bakhtiari said he thinks it's realistic for him to start against the Vikings on Sunday. The only remaining question on the line would be Elton Jenkins. Also, the status of wide receiver Alan Lazard remains unclear. He was the only player on the 53-man roster not to practice yesterday, and the team has yet to say what his injury is. Speaking of wide receivers, Christian Watson, who missed almost all the preseason, is confident he'll be ready to go.
I definitely, feel like there'll be a little bit of nerve there, it being my first one, but I'm confident in myself. I'm confident, in the playbook and everything, and if I do get the chance, I feel like I'll be ready to go.
To the majors, the Milwaukee Brewers got a much-needed road win, 6-4 over the Colorado Rockies yesterday. Starting pitcher Adrian Hauser would give up 3 runs in the first inning, but would settle in, retiring 13 straight batters. And the Brewers would use a big 6th inning, highlighted by a Victor Caratini 3-run shot to pick up the win. The Brewers now moved within 2 games of the Philadelphia Phillies for the final wildcard spot in the NL, and they're 7.5 games back of the Cardinals for first place in the NL Central. Both teams, Brewers and Rockies, back at it again tonight at Coors Field.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
When a company only does business in Wisconsin, that's Wisconsin Strong. Rural Mutual provides all lines of insurance, including commercial, farm, home, and auto. And your premiums stay right here to keep Wisconsin strong. Local agents, local underwriters, local claims adjusters.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Highlighted by Braylon Allen rushing for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Graham Mertz going 14-16 for 219 yards and 1 score. The Wisconsin Badgers would open up their season with a 38-0 win over Illinois State on Saturday. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
All football to get into and to talk a little more about it as the Packers are now in full-fledged Vikings mode, we'll say. Eric Branchak of the Green Bay Press-Gazette joining us on the hotline. Eric, how you doing, pal?
Hey, Bill, how about you? Was last week not the longest week ever?
It certainly felt like it, for lack of a better term.
And then, and you got a really, really good taste of football on Saturday. I mean, that was some good stuff. But man, alive! I just yesterday, I was like, man, should there be Monday Night Football tonight? What's going on here?
Yep, I completely agree. I cannot wait for more pro football to get underway. Meanwhile, the Green Bay Packers trying to make some decisions. Bakhtiari says that he's going to be ready to go. He's on pace to start week 1. I find that a little bit shocking. Do you?
I wonder if they do go if he plays the entire game. You know, it might be get in there. You know, let's get lathered up a little bit and maybe just see how it goes. Because I don't think they want to have a setback. You know, I mean, obviously he hasn't played in a while, so you think he's probably everything else. The rest of his body is probably feeling pretty awesome. But the reality is, I mean, you can't afford to lose this guy for the entire season. So, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if they play him for, you know, a little bit and then set him down. Like maybe like if you remember the Detroit game where he played the first half and sat down, maybe they do that, or maybe they give him some breaks for the game. Cause I just can't believe you would run that guy out there for the entire game when he hasn't even played a snap of live football right off the bat. To me, that doesn't seem like something the Packers do. They're usually very overly cautious, especially with their vets. So I would, if he does play, I'd be shocked if he plays the whole game.
What is the likelihood, in your opinion, the offense either comes out and they're on fire, or that they sputter and we have a lot to analyze come Monday? We have a lot to discuss. We have questions in our head as to how good they're going to be. Which side of that fence do you lean?
Well, I mean, let's just look at history, right? Last year, the first week, they got beat by the Saints, didn't they?
Yeah.
You know, so I think they're going to be slow coming out of the gates. I don't think that's. I think most teams are going to be slow coming out of the gates. It would be. Here's my thoughts. You got a new system over there in Minnesota. You don't have any history with what they're going to do. Like, what is that offensive coordinator going to do? Every other team and every other coordinator, you know what they're. Even if let's say they're a running team, you know when it's 3rd and long. You got years, if not multiple years, of video to watch. Like, what are they going to do on 3rd and long? Okay, what is this offensive coordinator going to call? It's going to be a little different. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Vikings come out and look awesome and blow the Packers out. That wouldn't surprise me one bit. But I think the longevity of it and the way that the Packers are going to be set up is, you know, and they talk about it all the time. It's a marathon, right? I think they look at the first game as kind of the old preseason dress rehearsal. I don't foresee them looking super smart. They're going to look really different. I think there's going to be a lot of passes going to receivers that we haven't seen. I think the Packers are going to have some wrinkles that you haven't seen in a while, but you can go back to the family tree and look at what they're doing there in San Fran, and you can even their blocking schemes and stuff. If you remember, if you're old enough to remember the old Broncos, when Mike Shanahan was there, their blocking schemes are very, very similar to what Kyle is running and what even Sean McVay has run a little bit, but and what LaFleur is doing. Zone blocking, backside cutoffs, all that stuff isn't going to change. it's going to look a little bit different, I think, of where the ball goes initially out of the gate.
The offense, we have a huge question mark. How dominant do you think this defense can? It's a great test to be able to get guys like Adam Thielen and such first game with this defense, the way everybody's got this anticipatory feeling that this defense could be about top 5. You got Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. Obviously, Kirk Cousins had a solid season for the most part last year. They've upgraded their offensive line. They feel, this is a big test for them.
Oh, it certainly is. Then last year, Jefferson and Thielen both kind of took it to the Packers a little bit. So I think they are going to, it's a really big test. And I don't think even if the Packers lose it, it's going to be something where it's on the defense. I think the offense is probably going to be a little slow. If you asked me from the previous question, I lean on that side of the fence. But the defense, I think, quite honestly, I think they're going to be okay. I would be surprised if they give up more than 21 points unless they're playing on short fields the entire game. But I think 21 points would be a very decent showing for them. It's going to be whether or not the offense can put up 21 points. But I think 3 touchdowns, because you got to figure they're probably going to get some, if the offense isn't playing real well, there's going to be some short yard or short fields, things like that. And I 21 points would be okay with the amount of, especially if they can, Dalvin Cook, you can say whatever you want about the receivers, but that's the guy. That's the guy that makes that offense go, and they got to shut him down. And it seems like they invested in a linebacker, and they invested in another big D tackle. So I think they got it set up. And there are some things in practice that they ran that look a little bit different than they had. We haven't seen it in the preseason games, but there's some packages there that I think is out to stop the run a little bit more. And I think that's the key. If they can shut him down or at least slow him down, I think that's the whole key. Because you get him out of that 3rd and 2nd when you feel really, especially on the wrong side of the 50, where you feel good about going deep and you can go for it. At 3rd and 2, you take some bigger chances. Or 2nd and short. Those are all really good situations for their offense if that's the way it looks. But Dalvin Cook, to me, that's the stopper right there. You got to stop that guy.
Talking with Eric Branchek at the Green Bay Press-Gazette, special teams for the Green Bay Packers. We have not seen a full complement of guys on special teams yet because they played a lot of guys trying to make this squad to find out who will be a good special teams player. One of the things that I'm excited to see is how this special teams unit plays, and also Mason Crosby, what they have him doing, whether he's kickoffs and PATs and such in field goals, or if he's just strictly PATs and PATs and field goals. Yet to be seen. I would assume he's going to do everything just like always, but I'm really interested in the coverage units, the return units, and special teams as a whole now that they've kind of got their guys.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's something that we're all really interested in seeing, and they made it a point of emphasis. They talked about it. Hey, we signed that safety that got cut really right after the 53 got announced to put a guy on their team, and basically because of his special team capabilities. So I think that's something in the past was kind of oversight, and some of that is when you have high dollar players on your team, you don't have that luxury to sign a mid, a guy in his 3rd or 4th, 5th year that you got to pay a little bit because he's good in special teams. That's tough to do when you're top heavy on some of your contracts. But they made it a point of emphasis, so it'll be interesting to see how it works and how they react. And certainly their kickers are fine. It's just really going to come down to whether or not they can be sound on the edge when they're trying to cover punts and kicks.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the return game. Who is going to be the returner, do you think? Is Mari Rodgers, Romeo Doubs, or is there somebody else that's going to be in the fold that we should look for?
I think it could be all of those guys, or both of them at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if, the kid from North Dakota, that guy can move. I don't know why you wouldn't put him in a kick return. Punt return, I think, might be a little bit scary, but certainly on kick return, just throw him out there, see what happens.
Talking with Eric Branchek of the Green Bay Press-Gazette, breaking down the Green Bay Packers getting ready for the week that is. And we've got a good, solid offensive lineup. Bakhtiari is back. Obviously, Elton Jenkins. You don't want to overuse these guys. You don't want to put any stress on the knees. You want to kind of ease them back into things. But how the depth of the offensive line, I have a ton of for the first time. I should say for the first time in a while, because they've always had some pretty good offensive lines. But if they get those guys back, both Elton Jenkins and David Bakhtiari, with what they have and the way they've drafted, this might be one of their deeper offensive lines in a long time, right?
Well, it certainly reflects on how many of them they kept. A lot of times you see when they are building their 53, a lot of times there's only 8 guys though. The luxury that they have now is they didn't want to get rid of any of their draft picks because probably all of them would have got picked up. So that was really impressive, and I think they really like those guys. And the odd man out there might be the Ryan kid. He was the highest of all the draft picks, but you're right. They have you got Jake Hansen, who isn't going to wow you with his run blocking, and certainly has some flaws in his pass blocking, but he's got experience, and you could get by with him during a game or two. Nyman, if there's a injury at left tackle again, or if you just need to give Bakhtiari a blow, I think you'd feel comfortable putting Nyman out there and being okay with that. The one guy that I think is the most intriguing is the guy that's on the practice squad, Jones. That guy he's like, what is he, 6'8" or something like that?
Oh my God.
He's huge. They got him on the practice squad, and they're going to have to watch very carefully because there are teams that have offensive lines go down. The one interesting thing about him is he's got that wingspan, and even if his kick is a little bit slow and he doesn't really sit down good in the pass blocking right now, you still got to get around that wingspan, and that's a pretty tremendous thing to do with a speed rusher. And you know what? He was pretty good against the run. So you're right. The offensive line is probably very deep, but just as that is so deep, their outside linebacker spot is so thin that I don't know how they can't sustain an injury there. So it's going to be tough. They're going to have to sprinkle in some of those young guys in occasions just so that you're not overworking those outside linebackers, because you're going to need those guys in December.
Did Garvin impress you? Did Galea impress you? Did Engabari impress you? Any of those guys, did they impress you this preseason as an outside linebacker?
I would say more like depress me than impress me, to be honest. There just wasn't. There's no suddenness out of the names that the guys that you mentioned there. Sound against the run. Engabari is going to be okay. Garvin, old, but just okay. But if you had to rely on any one of those guys for a long period of time, let's say Smith goes down for 6 weeks, how do you replace that? Not only is he a good pass rusher, but they also drop him off in coverage an awful lot. And those guys look like a fish out of water. So now you got to change your whole defense, because now you can't send 7 in there. And I think. What my gut tells me after watching them play is if there is a situation where one of those outside linebackers get injured, they would blitz 7 a lot, because that guy, he can pick them up and put them down. And I think having him, he could come around from all over the field. I think what you saw in preseason was pretty good, but I think his upside is sky high, just with his speed and his ability to find the football. Not necessarily the most physical guy, but I think the real depth on that outside linebacker spot is definitely going to be Quay Walker for sure.
Eric, great stuff as always, bud. We'll do more later in the week, and then obviously looking forward to the weekend and the game to come, okay?
Yeah, sounds great. You have a great week. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Appreciate it, pal. Talk to you soon. There you go, Eric Branchek of the Green Bay Press-Gazette joining us for a couple of minutes on the hotline. And as we get you ready for the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings coming up this weekend over at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, we will have live coverage from Minneapolis coming up this weekend. And it's the return of the Green and Gold postgame show. Don't forget about that. The Green and Gold postgame show is back. So no matter where you're at, I'm telling you right now, 1, download the app. The app, WOZN, the Zone out in Madison. Download the app. 2, you can always follow us over here on YouTube and on the Facebook fan page. Track us down there as well. You can subscribe absolutely free. But the Green and Gold postgame show is back on many of these same stations. If you don't get it in your market, make sure you download the app. Make sure you listen to us online. Make sure you go to the video side of things via YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. Bill Michaels Show. Don't forget, that's a great way to find us. And you also have the Green and Gold podcast form the very next morning. The Green and Gold Huddle, and the Green and Gold Show and the Huddle Show in podcast form the very next morning. You can download that as well. You can find us on all your podcast locations, Spotify, Apple iTunes, and over in Google Podcasts as well. But it's all right there. So if you can't get enough Packers coverage, if you want the best Packers coverage, make sure you follow us on the Green and Gold postgame show. Make sure you follow us on the Huddle. Make sure you follow us on many different platforms to find the Bill Michaels Show and find the Green and Gold postgame show. So looking forward to that. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at New Ma'am Medical, treating guys with ED all over the state of Wisconsin, well beyond the borders as well. And they have a 98% success rate. I preach that all the time. 98%. Think about that. All but guaranteeing the fact that they can help you out. So if you got it, you know it. If you're the partner of somebody who's got it, you know it too. And also don't forget, if you're moody, if you're tired, if you're sluggish, if every day it's just a struggle to get up and down and get your energy together, could be if you're over the age of 30, could be low T, could be low testosterone. It takes maybe 10 minutes to get your numbers checked. Stop in, make an appointment, call them 414-455-4451, anywhere and everywhere. 414-455-4451. Again, 414-455-4451. And if you want to shed some pounds, lose some weight, look a little bit better, put yourself on a whole trajectory to a whole new you, that's New Mel Medical. They can do it, all-in-one weight loss program. I had a gentleman walked up to me this weekend, asked me about it. Yeah, you do it. It works. You'll see. 414-455-4451. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Sometimes.
That Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers has made the announcement that Mitchell Trubisky is the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What kind of a massive kick to the crotch would it be if Mitch Trubisky actually had success in Pittsburgh? Think about that for a minute. Carol writing in on the Bud Light live stream says, Steve and I in South Dakota right now. Very high. You know what? It's really weird because portions of the country are in like just massive heat waves. I think 40 plus cities yesterday out west recorded record highs. Meanwhile, to the south, you've got a lot of rain. Georgia, I know, is being flooded. They've got a lot of flooding and heavy rains and such. Whoops. Right now on the East Coast as well. So a lot of weather-related stuff going on throughout. But congratulations being out in South Dakota and enjoying. Hopefully you're enjoying the ride. I would assume you're riding out there. Rick wants to know, is the postgame show going to be on WOSQ in Marshfield? I don't know, Ben. Do we have a list of affiliates that will be carrying the Green and Gold postgame show? Do we know what those will be?
I can find it.
Yeah. You can find it. I'm sure. Sure, Rowdy's got that list of who's carrying what and when and all that kind of stuff. So we'll let you know. But if not, don't forget the best way to do it. The best way to do it is always on the app. Always on the app. That's a great place to find us. Always on the app. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, feel free. This was from Mark, who said, what an incredibly successful weekend. I saw the pictures on the Franklin community page. Unit, you guys should be proud. We had a great time. Thanks so much for the kind email. I appreciate it. But we did. We had an incredible blast. All-time record. All-time record. I mean, we were hoping to get to 800 bikes. We not only beat that, we blew that apart. I'll put the videos being put together. That's going to post later today. I don't want to give away all the details of it, but the ride itself has outgrown the start point that is MKE Brewing, and they've been with us a long time. And I know MKE has been sold and such, so it's going to make a difference anyway. But we've just outgrown it. It's gotten so big. And it's gotten, which is great. It's a great problem to have if you want to call it a problem. But we got to find a new start destination, someplace big enough to host it. And we'll get there. We've got 363 days to figure it out, without a doubt. But we'll get there. But we just need to kind of figure all that out, because what an incredible weekend. So thanks to everybody that did come and participate and hang out with us. And we'll talk more about that later, but I'm telling you, it's the video itself. You're going to want to see it this afternoon, this evening. Something incredibly, incredibly special in it. Let me put it that way. Something incredible that you're going to want to see. You're going to want to see this. Also, thanks to our friend Jack over at Aloha Productions, because I can't wait for the video to come out. They had drones in the air. They had pictures being taken. I mean, it was really cool with all the people that collaborated to go in on this and take pictures of this. And so I'm excited for all of this to come to fruition. So yeah, we'll see the video this afternoon. And then once we get the actual aerial video, we'll post that as well from Aloha Productions. So Mark says, he says the Brewers are pretty much dead in the water. I know there's some postseason hope, but Brewers fans are fooling themselves if they think this team is going to get many wins in the postseason. All they have to do is play LA or New York, and they're going to get their asses handed to them. It's going to be better luck next year, as it always is. Mark Antanasio will never go all in. He'll blame everybody else for their failures, and he'll take all the credit for the victories. That's the way Mark plays it. Keep going and buying the $10 hot dogs, $14 beers, and $30 mixed drinks. You're all fools. It's kind of a harsh look. If I enjoy baseball, first of all, if you spend that kind of money, you spend that money. You know what you're getting into. So you know what it is. But if I enjoy baseball, I'm still going to go watch the Brewers. I still do. I'm a baseball lover. So yeah, there's still hope. I enjoy that. I don't think nobody's fools. If you believe they're winning a World Series each and every year and they're not truly, quote, going for it, well, then, yeah, it's it's more of a fool's gold, hopeful dream, right? But I'm not a fool because I want to watch Brewers baseball. That I'll disagree with vehemently. Just so you know. Marco, he's listening to us up in Sheboygan. He says, I think the Packers are going to get a win and they're going to surprise a lot of people. I think the offense is going to click so much better without Davante Adams. I like Aaron Rodgers' attitude, the fact that he has to crack the whip and pull the reins every now and then on some of the young guys. That will get them going. I am anticipating a Packers victory and shutting up all the people of purple. Down with Skull. Marco, appreciate the email. Down with Skull. I still think, now as we get closer to it, maybe I might change my mind a little bit, but my prediction early on was the Packers would lose this first one. You've got a lot of things going in two different directions. The Vikings, they've got a new head coach. There's a different energy, different pep in the step, if you will. Usually that, now you've got an offensive coordinator in Wes Phillips and a new head coach in Kevin O'Connell. So, and we all know Ed Donatel. Ed Donatel is the defensive coordinator over there. So we've seen Ed Donatel and what he can and can't do in Green Bay, and they're trying to bolster that defense to make it better. And he's got familiarity, obviously, with Aaron Rodgers. But that being said, usually when a new regime takes over, it's a different one. It'll take you a little while to absorb everything new, but because they have so many familiar faces, I think it's a new energy, it's a new life, it's a new message, it's a new grasping on of that message, much like Matt LaFleur had when he came in, won 13 games his first year after a dismal season with Mike McCarthy the year prior. You get a different pep in a step. So I think the Vikings are loaded. The fact that it's their first game of the season, I think fans are just salivating for this. That's my thought. And the Green Bay Packers are trying to figure out life after Davante Adams. Obviously, special teams last year was not good. So you're seeing a bunch of different guys now being, kind of molded into the special teams unit. I just wonder how this offense, specifically with really no preseason at all for many of these guys, 30 plus guys did not participate in the preseason. I wonder how this is going to kind of pan out. I wonder if they get off to yet another slow start. I did like the fact that they did those simulated game practices last week, because I think they needed that. Maybe that's a lesson that they learned after the ugly beatdown they took at the hands of the New Orleans Saints last year. Maybe that's their way of saying, hey, we're going to adjust things because we didn't play you in the preseason, but we're going to go all out in practice. Okay, maybe that's what they do. But we'll see. I did predict the Packers to lose this one. I still have that gut feeling that they will, unfortunately. This portion of the program brought to you by Wabam. They were present out at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson over the weekend. Big time. A lot of people walking over and trying the product. Go to getwabam.com. I had so many people compliment me on the sense of I kept saying, try the Wabam product called Whiplash. Put it on your bike and put it on a fairing specifically, and the bugs just blow right off. And so many people said, you're right. Didn't know what it was, never had a chance to try it. They tried it, they saw it, they're now believers. Go to getwabam.com. That's getwabam, WABAM.com. But it's janitorial cleaning supplies for your home, all different types of products, cleaning products, ceramics, boats, cars, motorcycles, and such, RVs. But whatever you need, Wabam has it. Go to getwabam.com. And they're based in Wisconsin. Getwabam, WABAM. Go to getwabam.com. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network and the official beer sponsor of the motorcycle ride, which was a massive success this past weekend. We had a terrific turnout, and we'll talk more about that later on today. But also look for, there's going to be a video that's going to be posted coming up later on this evening as well. We'll let you know when it's up for sure. I'll post it over on the Facebook fan page and see if I can't get it over to Instagram and such as well. But really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Emotional stuff coming up too. So 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. By the way, I want to go back. LSU, Brian Kelly, in his debut as the head coach of LSU, gets beat by Florida State. And we had both sides of it. The LSU side, the Florida State side, and the ESPN side, as the kick is blocked and the hopes and dreams of the Tigers for the first win as a head coach for Brian Kelly as an LSU Tiger head coach fall by the wayside. First, this is Florida State's call as they block the kick.
And it's a redshirt freshman kicker, Damian Ramos, who might be the most nervous person in the Superdome right now. Roy to snap, Bramlett to hold to send it to free football. Snap, spot, blocked! Yeah! It's so good! Yeah! It's blocked! Shaheem Brown got his mitt on it! Fire up the war chant and plant the spear! Nose win! Nose win! Mike Norvell, you have your signature win! Early on in non-conference play!
How about that? Now, the disappointing side. You know what? Let's do the ESPN call. That's the non-partial call. ESPN, their call of LSU taking the loss. Take a listen.
Mike, Florida State 24, LSU 23. The freshman Damian Ramos for the extra point and the biggest kick of his life thus far. The snap is back. The hold is down. The kick is low. It's no good. No good. Florida State has won in New Orleans. The final score, the Seminoles 24 and the Tigers 23.
He doesn't even say it was blocked. He just says it was no good, which is a terrible, terrible call. That's awful. But yet, there was the thrill of victory we just heard, but here is the other side of things. It's the agony of defeat from LSU.
The all-important point after in a 24-23 ball game. Here's the snap, placement down, kick on the way, and it is blocked, and it hits the crossbar, no good, and Florida State going to survive this one 24-23.
can't believe it. But I take a lot of pride in it. I like it. I like it a lot. Good stuff as LSU ends up falling. I don't know why we're paying so much attention to LSU other than the fact that just Brian Kelly we can't stand.
Oh, I have a proposition on the matter. Actually,
Yes,
Bill.
please give it over.
Wisconsin is obviously our, college football team in this state, and you also have a connection naturally to Ohio State.
Correct.
I propose that we, as a show, adopt the Notre Dame Fighting Irish as our other college football team to then root for their success with Marcus Freeman, who I love, to then root in addition for Brian Kelly's failure.
Yeah, you know what? I could see that. And we could then root for Notre Dame as a maybe an incumbent to the Big Ten, which would add additional money to Wisconsin's coffers. Maybe we go in that direction as well. I can root for Notre Dame. Like I said, I was a huge Notre Dame fan until Notre Dame brought Brian Kelly in, and then I wanted them to fail terribly. So that was always my contention.
I root for people more than brands in college football. Once I get out of the Wisconsin realm,
right?
Like there are certain coaches I dislike, certain coaches I like. It isn't necessarily a hatred of, the brand of Notre Dame for me. Penn State's the only one where I just can't stand them.
I know people don't like Notre Dame because it's Notre Dame, because they've always been the standoff. They've always held themselves to a different standard and such. And I get it. Completely understand that. However, I was a Notre Dame fan. Was a Notre Dame fan back to Lou Holtz. I was a Notre Dame fan for years. Regardless, I just always had liked Notre Dame, and it was popular to hate Notre Dame at the time. And I never had that angst towards them until, like I've said, they ended up bringing in Brian Kelly. And then it was, I have no use for them. And now that they, I won't even say they got rid of him, because they didn't. He just jumped for more money. He just took off for more cash. So I still would have wished, I applauded Notre Dame when they finally told Brian Kelly, hey, knock off the screaming and yelling and dropping of F-bombs continuously, because it was very obvious on TV, and they finally kind of put the clamps down a little bit on him. But for the most part, it's kind of like, nah, I could never respect them, because they had that train wreck of a human being in their service. But now I can maybe come correct a little bit, but I can't. It's still going to take me a while to come really fully back and root for Notre Dame. It just is. Michelle says, what a weekend at Camp Randall. Did you see the student section didn't fill up right away? I did not see it. I got to be honest with you. I wasn't even paying attention to it. And you know what? Not a huge game. It's just the first game of the season. It's not a huge game. And we all know, we've already been down this road a bunch of times in regards to filling up the student section and ticketing, and nothing's going to change. So it's kind of like, beating the dead horse. But thanks for the email. This one's from Johnny. Johnny says, hey, unit back in the hometown. Did you see the fireworks display last night? I did not. And he's talking about the WEBN fireworks that they hold over Labor Day weekend in Cincinnati. No, Johnny, I did not. He said his family still lives down there and said it was spectacular. He said, on a lighter note, the Brewers got to win. I'm with you. I still think that they're a team that's on the outside looking in, but I have a lot of hope for the Green Bay Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a back-to-back-to-back MVP season. I think he has just got that much on his shoulders right now that he is going to prove the world wrong. If they win the Super Bowl, does he walk away from football? Johnny, I said, if the Packers win the Super Bowl, it puts him in a different echelon of quarterbacks when you talk about the Hall of Fame. But if they win it, if I had to put a number on it, at first I thought, well, if they win the Super Bowl, he's just going to mic drop and walk away. But if he should get to 3 Super Bowls and win 3, it puts you in a whole different realm. I mean, now you're really, really up there in the pantheon of the greats. And his contract, should he leave with the guaranteed money, it really would be detrimental to the franchise. So I can't imagine that that's what he wants to do. I still think he's got the minimal this year and next year. Minimal. Maybe he leaves the following, but minimal. We'll wait and see. But as I had stated, and as you know, Ben reminds me, I said write it down, September 2nd. If the Packers don't win at all, Rodgers will take time away. We'll be told that we're waiting. And then there's going to be some insight on the McAfee show about the offseason and training camp and all that kind of stuff. And then in April, he's probably going to return unless he wins the Super Bowl or there's an injury. Then it changes things. But that was my prediction. I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to stick to it. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Gina Della from Pella here. Wayne Larrabee and his wife Julie took advantage of our wide range of beautiful wood designs that can be painted, stained, or unfinished to complement any decor.
We have a lot of windows in this house. You match the craftsmanship of the woodwork around those windows to a T. That's a talented group of people doing that.
We like our wood tones, and so the ability to have wood tones some places and the white windows others, it worked really well for us and allowed us to have exactly what we wanted.
Pella's team of expert installers always provides service of the highest quality, starting with an in-home consultation and ending with no hassle or mess, leaving nothing but perfect results that stand the test of time. We have the best wood warranty in the industry to prove it. There's no reason to wait any longer because right now, put no money down, make no payments, and be charged 0 interest for up to 24 months. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Get started today at PellaWI.com.
Expires 9/30/2022. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Now, in Green Bay, here's Mike Clemens.
The Packers getting ready to take on the Minnesota Vikings Sunday in Minnesota. Vikings wide receiver Alan Lazard did not practice yesterday with the team. The first injury report is due out tomorrow. Veteran Sammy Watkins was asked if he feels at home with the Packers playbook and Aaron Rodgers.
I can say I'm finally comfortable to where I can go out there and compete, smile, have fun, and not be too serious. Really, I'm in the point where I'm just having fun, and as far as different coverages and where I need to be at on certain plays, and that's when football becomes fun, and I can go out there and do everything in my best to make plays.
Mason Crosby was at practice. He had a birthday, turned 38 over the weekend, but the team signed kicker Ramiz Ahmed, who was in camp as a backup, to round out the practice squad to 16. The Vikings have several new members, both coaches and players, some that are former Packers, including linebacker Zadarius Smith, who spoke to reporters. He turns 30 on Thursday.
Very excited, man, and can't wait. Been preparing for this time to come for a while now, so it's finally here and I'm ready.
Any extra incentive or anything along those lines? Or?
Nah,
Because they did let you go,
They did, and I came to the other side. But, at the end of the day, it's a game. Just happy, can't wait. 6 days away, man. I'm just very excited. Birthday coming up, too, so hopefully we get a dub for my birthday.
That's the Vikings' Zadarius Smith in Green Bay. I'm Mike Clemens on the Bill Michaels Show.
Huge shout out to our friends at Cunis RV and Cunis Automotive. Great people. They really, really helped us out as a huge sponsor of the motorcycle ride and Fisher House coming up this past weekend. And I can't say thanks enough to them. They supply the big unit cruiser every year. They help us out with a vehicle every year. Just Cunis RV and Cunis Automotive. Go to CunisRV.com. That is KUNES, CunisRV.com for all that they have to offer. Just good stuff over there. 877-867-1670. You can find us again, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. This is from, who's this from? This is from Zach. Zach says, this is from Zach, who says, I think that the Green Bay Packers are going to attack Zadarius Smith. He is going to be the disruptor. Make sure that you keep him off of Aaron Rodgers. He knows all of Rodgers' nuances coming into this game. Just hearing from, speaking of Zach Heilprin is coming up next after the top of the hour. We're going to talk with Zach a little bit about the Badgers this past weekend and get his thoughts on what he saw. The Packers going to be heading off to Minneapolis. As Rob Domofsky's tweeted out, he's won more games in his first 3 seasons than any coach in NFL history, but Matt LaFleur didn't spend the offseason content that he knows it all. He went looking for more, and that took him on an NBA road trip with the Milwaukee Bucks. An interesting story there, as Matt LaFleur looking for more, we'll say, championship pedigree, if you will. Despite winning 13 games in his first 3 NFL seasons, he's not won a Super Bowl or even been to one. And if he could find any little edge to give him that something to get him over the top, it meant going on a road trip in an entirely different sport, and that was with the Bucks. He said he had a good time and enjoyed himself, according to Bucks general manager, but there's no question this was a professional development opportunity. The backstory to the trip was a month earlier, LaFleur and his wife, Bree, were at a Phoenician resort in Scottsdale, Arizona to attend a fundraiser for child help in an organization run by a friend of LaFleur's that helps abused and at-risk kids. And he bumped into Chris Middleton. He said, I've been around those guys a little bit. I just introduced myself, and I'm like, what are you guys doing here? LaFleur said. Turned out that the Bucks stayed there while they were in town to play the Phoenix Suns, and LaFleur then texted Horst, who had been introduced to him by a mutual friend shortly after he got the Backers job. They met up in the hotel bar and quickly turned into an evening of talking shop about getting better and what you need to do to get better. We're just kind of like chopping up with John and some of those guys talking philosophically, and he threw it out there. He'd like, hey, you should come on a road trip with us. And LaFleur said, are you serious? He said, I'd love to, just to see how you operate. It's kind of how all of that started. So interesting that, Matt LaFleur says this is a team that won a championship that does things a certain way. We want to go about our business in this particular way towards a championship because I haven't been to one yet. So interesting that that's what he did. He tried to jump onto I'm not going to say the coattails by any stretch of the imagination, but try to jump on the Bucks' success and say, hey, look, there's not just one way to win. There's many ways to win. There's many ways to create success. So that's what he tried to do. And kudos to him. Kudos to him. Interesting stuff coming from Rob Demoski from ESPN, and also Matt LaFleur trying to get the job done. So we'll see if there's any benefits from that this season. And if so, what are they? What are the benefits?
Do you think Mike Budenholzer's teams would be, good at special teams?
Well, they'd be fast. I think they would be fast and faster. I think the NBA, now correct me if I'm wrong, but in many people's opinions, but I think the NBA is probably the most physically dominating sport there is, just because of the punishment that the body takes on the hardwood, up and down the floor. It's incredibly physical in that sense. There's a lot of stamina that's involved. It's probably the most physically gifted athletic game there is. That's just my take on it. Would you agree?
Athletically gifted, yeah. Physically demanding, no. Like we see what NFL players go through to even play every week.
Right.
So I would still side with the NFL.
Let's do this. We are going to take a break, and we're going to come back, talk a little Badgers. Zach Heilprin is going to join us, sports director, WOZN in Madison. He was at the game this past week, and we'll get his thoughts on what he saw out of the Wisconsin Badgers as they get their first win of the season. 2 hours down, 2 hours yet to go. Stay tuned. A lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Packers are getting the day off after being on the field for the first time in 3 days yesterday. They're preparing for their season opener on Sunday in Minnesota. Going to be the first game in the green and gold for wide receiver Sammy Watkins.
Just really ready to put all my hard work to test. It's a divisional game, and just really ready to go out there and have fun, play good football.
Watkins figures to be heavily involved in the offense, especially with the uncertainty around Al Lazard's status for the opener.
For me, it's about winning, and whatever I have to do to go out there and get a win, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not too much focused on how well I'm going to play. When I'm right and healthy, I play well. So it's really going out there, putting everything together, what I practice on in practice, and putting it to a test come this Sunday.
A major question for the Packers, whether they'll have tackles David Bakhtiari or Elton Jenkins. Bakhtiari returned to team drills for the first time since last season. ESPN reported he's on track to start. Bakhtiari tried to tone that down, saying on Twitter that he's day-to-day. Jenkins seems the more likely of the two to miss the game. He's not taken part in team drills yet. First injury report of the week comes tomorrow. Turning to Wisconsin, they're 17-point favorites over Washington State on Saturday afternoon. Badgers open the year with a 38-0 win over Illinois State. Kick on Saturday is set for 2:30.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up, and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Well, the Brewers earned a 6-4 win over Colorado yesterday afternoon. Victor Caratini hit a 3-run homer to break a tie in the sixth. That has them 2 games back in Philadelphia for the final wild card spot. They'll face the Rockies again tonight. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Badgers get a win over the weekend, and it just it was funny because it was like it was supposed to be some 90-0 blowout in some people's minds, and I thought that was a little ridiculous. And but in the grand scheme of things, you take the win. It's good film. As we talked about earlier, it is an opportunity to kind of correct a few things that you may find erroneous if you're a coach. But all in all, not a bad way to go for the Wisconsin Badgers. To talk more about it from WOZN, the sports director out there at the Zone in Madison, our flagship station, Zach Heilprin in the house. Zach, how you doing, pal?
Doing good.
So the game overall, just your consensus opinion.
Some good, some bad. 38-0. It's 38-0. Really good from Graham Mertz. Really good signs, I should say, from Graham Mertz. Maybe not. You have to at least factor in the opponent a little bit. But, yeah, good signs for the passing game. Braylon Allen still pretty good. Defense had some miscues, but they happened against Illinois State, so they don't matter. You can fix them and clean them up and be ready for Saturday. Overall, a lot of positive, and, you can fix the negatives that were there. There wasn't anything that stood out, said, oh, my gosh, they're not going to be able to fix this. This is going to be who they are all year. I think there's plenty of things to improve on, but most of them are things you can actually improve on.
So I thought, and I said this at the beginning of the show, I thought Graham Mertz did a magnificent job in just managing the game. He didn't make, and that's a positive. He didn't make mistakes, didn't throw into bad coverage situations, just did what was right and made good decisions. Do you see it that way?
I do. I mean, I look at every one of the 16 throws that he made. I don't think you could point anyone out and say that's a bad decision or that was a bad throw. Like there's not a single one there. It's just not. The 2 incompletions, one was a drop, one of 3 plays that they got in the first quarter because the defense couldn't get out the field through some of their own fault with some of the personal fouls that were or were not, depending on your point of view. But every one of Graham's throws were right where they needed to be for a guy to make a play, and on 14 of them they did. And so yeah, I mean, there weren't any bad mistakes. I have to just caution, though, is he went 14 for 17 against Eastern Michigan last year in the second game. So,
correct.
Again, competition is important to at least note while doing this. That said, a lot of positive things.
Braylon Allen, we all know, ran for 148 yards and a couple of touchdowns. But I also thought not only did he create at times his own hole, I thought the offensive line played better in this contest than some of the play we had seen last year. Agree there?
Yeah, I would agree. I think it really stood out. The run game, outside of Braylon's 96-yarder, and it was a fantastic play, and the hole was huge. As when he eventually when he found it, I think they averaged about 4 yards carry. So the run game wasn't as dominant, though. I think there's a lot that goes into that. The one thing that was impressive was Graham was barely touched on Saturday night. Outside of one mistake, and Graham kind of took the blame for it, said he should have made clear that Braylon Allen should have been out there, or he should have communicated that there was going to be a guy coming off the side and made sure that Braylon saw it. Outside of that, the pocket that Graham threw from was pretty darn good. And when he has time to throw, I think we saw it at times last year, he could be a pretty effective quarterback. And I think if all of what the offensive line did the other night, pass protection was probably the best thing.
The 74-yard pass that was thrown from Graham Mertz to, is it DK?
It is Jim Ray DK.
I just want to make sure I get that correct. Because people say, well, you take out the couple of big plays. You can't take out the couple of big plays.
No.
Those plays were made. If there was just one play in the entire game that gave them a score and the rest of the time they were completely shut down, you could look at it and say, okay, it wasn't impressive. But they had numerous plays in this game that you could point to and say, you know what, those were pretty solid plays. They had a 16-yard run, a 15-yard run, 74-yard pass play, 19-yard pass play, 14-yard pass. I mean, they were pretty consistent in making big plays and picking up first downs.
Yeah, the 74-yarder is the one that I think a lot of people will point to because it was different. It was a play that was not in their playbook last year. According to we talked to the guys afterwards. Jim Ray said it was not a play that was in the playbook. You have this, fake play action toss to the right, be able to come back, get everyone going one way, pass to the other side, and it's wide open. And when you have a running game like Wisconsin does, and a defense is so focused on it, you can hit guys with that. And they just didn't take advantage of that nearly enough last year. This, I think, was a Bobby Ingram addition to the playbook. And I don't think it's going to be the last one. We, asked Graham Mertz that. I'm like, this was a little bit of a wrinkle to the playbook. And he said, yes, we got a couple more coming. So this was, I think, that play of all the plays that we saw the other night, that was Bobby Ingram's, I think, the visual addition of Bobby Ingram to that coaching staff was him seeing that and taking advantage of a situation that Wisconsin hasn't done a very good job of the last 2 years.
Now, the Illinois State Redbirds, no juggernaut by any stretch of the imagination. No. So what do you take away defensively other than the fact that you did exactly what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to take issue with anything defensively, it was some of the early pass plays down the field on first down. And they had to hit at least 3 or 4 on first down, big pass plays down the side of the down the sideline. It's not that the coverage was bad. There were some really good plays by Zach Annexstad and some of the wide receivers. Now they're going to face much better quarterback and much better receivers very, very soon, probably this week, obviously, but coming September 24th. That would be my only concern, but it's not like the coverage was bad. They were there. The other team made some good plays, and some of the balls were thrown really, really well. I love them getting after the quarterback. They got after Zach Annexstad a bunch, kind of hit, shot themselves in the foot with some of the personal fouls early in the game that allowed, Illinois State to stay on the field and have such a huge advantage time and possession wise early in the game. But overall, how many of those guys were making their first start? How many of those guys were playing extensive minutes for the first time? Mm-hmm. A ton. And I think you're going to have little growing pains, but I think overall that defense, I'm not backing off my stance that this defense can be very, very, very good this year.
Talking with Zach Heilprin, sports director at WOZN, the Zone out in Madison. So a couple of picks. I thought coverage was not only good, but I also thought that pressure had something to do with the picks as well. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, being able to play up into somebody on the outside, that only works, I think, all the time is if you're able to get after the quarterback. And Wisconsin was able to do that. Specifically, I'm thinking about Preston Zachman's interception. His coverage was right on. He was right up in the guy's face, was able to do that because there was going to be pressure coming off the edge. And so, yeah, what we saw from that, pressure always helps the secondary. I mean, that is the biggest. That's the biggest pass defense in the world. Is really, really good pass rush because it forced the quarterback to, his hand and makes him get the ball out of his hand quicker. And we certainly saw that on the Preston Zachman interception.
We don't talk at all hardly about special teams when it comes to the Wisconsin Badgers. Vito Cavaruso, give me your thoughts on him as a kicker.
That dude, he's a dude, man. He's got the biggest leg I've seen in Wisconsin. I actually said that on a podcast in spring, and I got a tweet from Vitaly Pasetsky. I don't know if you remember him, Bill. He was the kicker for Wisconsin. And he sent me a tweet with the gif of Rodney Dangerfield, I get no respect around here type of thing. But no, Vito Cavaruso's leg is as big as anything I've seen. And I mean, he was hitting from 55 in warmups with ease. I think he's got a 60-something yarder in him at some point this year. But yeah, the ball just jumps off his foot. He didn't take part in fall camp pretty much at all. He was dealing with an injury, so we didn't get to see him in fall camp. But I mean, it's different. When he kicks the ball compared to everything else, every other kicker I've seen in Wisconsin, at least since I've been covering him here the last 10 years, it's different.
Nick Herbig impressed me in the sense that one of his sacks came off of a stunt, and he was able to shed a block and then get free. I like him at linebacker. I've watched him. I think that obviously being a junior, we've seen him kind of grow up, so to speak. But that being said, give me your thoughts on Herbig, because I thought he had a pretty solid day.
He's so quick. He is so quick, especially, I don't know if he's judging the snap count or if he's just that quick. But his ability to make the first move and get on the outside shoulder of the tackle is so quick. And it separates him. And, he's not as big as some of the outside linebackers that they've had. I'm thinking like a TJ Watt. He's not that size of a guy, but he's as quick as anything they've had. And he's got some really nice pass rush moves. He was not happy after the game. He was not happy with their performance whatsoever. I mean, they shut him out. It was their ninth shutout since 2015. Mm-hmm. Only Alabama has more, but he was not happy. And he specifically mentioned himself saying missed tackles and, and some bad reads. Very, very reflective, or I should say self-reflective of of how he played, and thinks he's got better. And if he does, Wisconsin's in very, very good shape. I think he does have better in him, but his ability to get off the ball is just elite in PJ Fleck's words.
His counterparts, Turner, Nameta, Those guys also played extremely strong. The linebacking core had a huge day. I mean, I give it up to the guys in the trenches for keeping the offensive linemen pretty much off the linebackers, and linebackers able to get home.
You look at, and again, that when I was talking about some of the guys making their first starts or playing extensive minutes for the first time, I'm thinking of the inside linebackers, Jordan Turner and Mumajong Meta. Both those guys, that was their first start and really their first extensive. I mean, both of them played probably more snaps on Saturday than they had their entire career defensively. And, Jim Leonard, shuffled through those guys a little bit. We got to see Jake Chaney. We got to see Tate Grass. But those first two guys, especially Muma had 8 tackles, which was the most on the team. It's a good group. It's of inside linebackers, but I think we also kind of got a little bit of a I don't want to say a wake up call of how good Jack Sanborn and Leo Chanel were, but it was a little bit. We saw some missed tackles. We saw a little bit slow reaction to some plays here and there. And then, Illinois State had some success running early. But I think as those guys get settled in, especially Jordan Turner, I think he's got star written all over him.
Now up next, Washington State. They're going to come calling next week, 2:30 kickoff out at Camp Randall. What do you expect from Washington State? A little bit better competition.
Yeah, I watched their game, or I should say I watched some of their game on Saturday night late because it was a late game. And they were playing Idaho. They only beat them 24-17. Actually needed an interception at the goal line to stop Idaho from tying the game there. It's a new quarterback. It's a new offense. They brought a guy in from Incarnate Word, and he brought his quarterback with him, Cam Ward, a guy who a lot of people think has a chance to be a first-round quarterback next year. Watching their game, I didn't see that, but he's got a big arm. They didn't necessarily, I don't know if they broke out everything, but the bigger, I think there's a name that other people know, Nakia Watson, the former Badger running back. He's out there, had 117 yards, also had a fumble, but we know he's going to come in here motivated. He left on good terms, but he also left because he wasn't getting carries. And so I'm sure he'll have a little motivation for him. It's an interesting defense that certainly got after Idaho, but Wisconsin's a 17-point favorite for a reason. Washington State did not play great last week, and I think while it is a step up in competition, Wisconsin's needs to be better. I think that 17 number makes sense, and it'd be difficult for me to say that Wisconsin won't cover here. But again, Cam Ward is gonna challenge them on the outside. I think for sure some of the issues that Wisconsin did in defending against the pass down the field, maybe we'll see if they're able to make improvements there, because I think they're going to be challenged out there.
What do you think about the return of Hunter Wohler? I know he went down with that leg injury, the Badger safety. So is it just going to be
Not
a game or two, or is it going to be longer than that?
I think it's going to. Paul Chris said a bit, which is probably saying it's going to be a while. And I think certainly think this game and probably the next game. I don't know. I mean, he was on crutches afterwards and had a foot in a boot. Those are not good things. And the way that Nick Herbig was saying it, he talked about it afterwards. Said, we won't have Hunter. These other guys will step up. And the thing about it is, they went to the transfer portal and have added, Kamoi Latu. They've got some guys to fill in. Not necessarily, I don't think, Hunter Wohler level, but they've got some guys that are going to be able to fill in. They did a lot to bolster their depth there in the offseason, but they're down now 2 of their top 3 safeties. If you think about Travion Blaylock, who is out with an ACL for the year, it's essentially John Torchio and some guys that they're going to be hoping can step up.
Always good, Zach. Good stuff. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you again most likely next week after the Badgers get another win, okay?
All right. Sounds good, Bill.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it, pal. Talk to you soon. There you go. Zach Heilprin covering the Badgers. WOZN out in Madison, our flagship station. Good stuff there. And I had a couple people ask me today. They said, "Did you watch a Badger game? Were you able to?" I didn't watch it live, no, but I watched it again this morning. So I got up early. I slept all day yesterday. Yesterday I started watching it and I fell back asleep. And then I watched pretty much 3/4 of it this morning again, just to get caught up, because I didn't really have a chance over the weekend. It was a completely crazy weekend with being busy with the bride. But the Badgers going to win. Thanks to Zach for coming on, joining us for a couple of minutes as well. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Stoley's Hog Alley and Stoles Old 109. Good news that Stoley's Hog Alley, they finally had the floor poured for the renovation for the new dining area, and they continue to make progress there. And I know Jeff and Alicia were with us this past weekend in spirit. They're so busy, and they are just trying to run 2 businesses, and they're trying to get the second one, or the first one actually, Stoley's Hog Alley, up and running and get the renovation done. So we missed you this weekend, but hey, if you're going to support a local business, a small business, and a business of good people, That is our friends at Stoley's Hog Alley out in Summit, right there in Oconomowoc, or in Watertown, Stoll's Old 109. Great people, great places, really good food, and I highly, highly recommend it. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show is next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
One of the worst things that you can hear, you have cancer. The worst is when you hear the words, your child has cancer. When a child is diagnosed with cancer, it changes their world. Sometimes they can't even do things that they really love, like playing soccer, riding a bike, going to prom, attending school. Children with cancer spend a lot of time away from others. Time in the hospital, treatments, tired, nauseous, and they feel isolated. That's where Special Spaces Wisconsin steps in. They provide these children with a special space where they can not only sleep, but they can play, they can heal, they can spend time away from the challenges of their illness. It's a customized bedroom designed just for them. How about a princess castle or a pirate ship or a sports-themed bedroom? They transform that child's existing bedroom into a place that only he or she can imagine. A place for them just to be a kid. This effort is done with teams of dedicated volunteers and sponsors, just like our friends from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and all the community partners. If you'd like to find out more or to donate, go to specialspaces.org. That is specialspaces.org.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. Continuing on this portion of the program, brought to you by our friends over there at Four Seasons Island Resort. Get a hold of our girl Barb. I'm telling you, when the fall colors start to kick in, you still got some time to play some golf. The UTV, ATV trails are open. Do a little fishing off the island. Whatever your heart desires up there in the North Woods, or maybe you're going to stop down into Peshtigo. Stop over at Forgotten Fire Winery for a winery tour. So much good stuff still to be had up there in Pembine, Wisconsin at the Four Seasons Island Resort. Four Seasons Island Resort, great place, historic place, really cool. Everything right there on the island, indoor pool, saunas, you name it. Great food in the Diamond Room, nice upstairs lounge, do a little wine tasting, or downstairs, whether it's bands or karaoke or whatever it happens to be in the Boundary Waters Bar and Grill. That's it's just such a fun getaway and a relaxing getaway in the Northwoods. Go to thefourseasonswisconsin.com. Get a hold of our girl Barb, and make sure you put in the promo code BillMichaels15. BillMichaels15. You get automatically 15% off. That's the way to go. Free, it's for me, but percentages off, always awesome. Get a hold of our girl Barb, B-A-R-B, at thefourseasonswisconsin.com. B-A-R-B at thefourseasonswisconsin.com. And tell her, hey, I want to come up. Want to hang out where we hang, which actually we're going to make a trip up there probably in October just to look at the fall colors and enjoy ourselves. And they got a lot of great events coming up as well, such as a big Halloween party. So check out thefourseasonswisconsin.com. Great stuff. Zadarius Smith, the former Green Bay Packer. He obviously has fond memories here. And he talks a little bit about his injury. He talks about what it's going to be like to face his old team. All of that. He sat down with the media a couple of days ago and got into that discussion. Take a listen to the media back and forth with Zadarius Smith, now of the Minnesota Vikings.
Very excited, man, and can't wait. Been preparing for this time to come for a while now, so it's finally here, and I'm ready.
Any extra incentive or anything along those lines? Or?
Nah,
because they did let you go,
They did, and I came to the other side. But, at the end of the day, it's a game, and, we all get to play and do something that we love, and I just can't wait to go against my old team.
What Aaron Rodgers secrets do you have?
Say that one more time.
Which Aaron Rodgers secrets do you have that you pass along?
I can't do much passing on right now. Everybody's watching. So to prepare for him, he's a great quarterback. And hopefully we get a chance to take him down a couple times.
Darius, has this been sort of a fresh start last month? Not just coming back to injury, but just new team. Do you feel like you more stepping your steps?
Yeah, excited, man. Had a whole year off, and now I get an opportunity to go back and do something that I love, man. Just happy, can't wait. 6 days away, man. I'm just very excited. Birthday coming up too, so hopefully we get a dub for my birthday.
Have you been exchanging texts with any of your former teammates at all, or you've been telling them, "Watch out, I'm coming for you," or anything like that?
You trying to get a story, I haven't. I think I did. I did talk to Preston, man. It's all good, man, and we're still brothers too. But now, like I said, I'm on the other side, man, and can't wait to go compete against them guys.
So what do you think about the training camp that these guys had here, and especially some of the veterans in terms of reps and preseason and all that?
It was great. It was big for us. We didn't have too many injuries, did we not? We didn't. It's good that coach is bringing something new to the system, showing what he did previously with the Rams, and it really worked. A guy who went and got a Super Bowl, man. I'm trying to learn everything from him to better my game, but it's been going well, man. Great training camp, and you can see now that I'm healthy, so ready to go.
Different than what you're used to or in your other stuff?
Oh yeah, big difference, man. I can remember being in Baltimore. We was going 2 days, man, and Green Bay took care of us also, but being here is totally different for me, and I'm happy and ready.
Was it kind of a seamless transition, similar defense?
Similar, yes, sir.
Couple of coaches the same. Did that make it kind of a seamless transition for you?
Yeah, it did, and I got a chance to come in early and help the younger guys, man. Some stuff that they didn't know. I had the opportunity to coach them up after practice, get some extra work, but just all in all, man, all is well, man, and I'm excited and happy to get ready to go play some football.
When you did learn how they were going to use you and utilize you,
yes, sir.
around, take advantage of all the different things you can do, now you're continuing that role.
Yes, sir.
What was it like to see that come to fruition and now to carry it on?
It was a big part of the recruitment. They told me that when they gave me the phone call for me to come here. I was like, man, you're going to be the guy who's basically moving around for the defense and helping the younger guys. So to come in and step in, since day one, I've been doing that and trying to be a great leader at my position.
Your first year in Green Bay was Matt LaFleur's first year as a head coach.
Yep.
Same thing here. First
Yeah.
time head coach.
I know.
What do you sort of observed in how he's taking on that job?
Younger coach, man, all about his players, and that's good that you can have that because he want to know how his players feel as well. When you get coaches like that, man, you build great relationship with your team and with your players, and also to be able to get ready to prepare for a big game, man. We know what coach wanted and know what we got to do to help this team win a football game.
There you go. That's Darius Smith talking about this. He's not going to give any fodder. I mean, he still talks to Preston. He still talks to some of the guys, but he is not going to give any kind of fodder to the Green Bay Packers for him to say, hey, I'm coming after you. I'm pissed off. I mean, none of that. None of it. He's not doing it. So kudos to him for just being very, upstanding, so to speak, when it comes to his, desire to beat the Green Bay Packers. So I've always liked Za'Darius. I can't hide that. I've always liked Za'Darius and what he brings and what he represents and such. So I'm a fan of his. But he still excited. Still excited to play Green Bay. It should be a good one up in the U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis this coming weekend. 877-867-1670. This is from Mark, who says, I think Za'Darius is going to be salivating at the thought of playing against a lackluster David Bakhtiari and getting after Aaron Rodgers. And now, again, let me caution you. Nothing has stated that Bakhtiari is definitely the guy. Now, I know Bakhtiari, there was some comments made that he would be the week one starter. He kind of backpedaled a little bit via Twitter and said, it's day at a time, between him and Elton Jenkins. I think Josh Nijman, regardless, if Josh Nijman gets the start, Josh Nijman played really well last year. Is he David Bakhtiari? No, but he played really well and deserves that recognition. I don't think just because Bakhtiari or Elton Jenkins are not going to be on the field come Sunday, and that's nothing official. I'm just kind of throwing it out there just because if neither one of those guys are there, I don't think it's a field day and a feast on Aaron Rodgers. The one good thing I can say is you don't have Za'Darius Smith via Anthony Barr bearing down on Aaron Rodgers, who's going to slam him into the turf and give him a little extra as he gets him down there to bust up a collarbone. So if he does get to him, I'm not going to expect Za'Darius to take Aaron down to the point that there's injury damage, so to speak. So I guess on one hand, that would be good. On the other hand, Za'Darius is coming after him with no matter what he says and how diplomatic he is. Let's be honest. If it's your former employer, you got some extra gas going. Now, whether that comes off in just the first quarter or whatever, but you're going to have some extra gas. You got some extra pump to your step, without a doubt. You're going to a little extra savage in you. You know what I'm saying? Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Are you a gold breaker? Play your favorite games at Potawatomi Sunday afternoons now through September, and you could win your share of $1 million in prizes. Break the code, win the $10,000 top jackpot, and everyone playing slots also wins a prize. Anyone can win on any machine again and again. Do you have the golden touch? Gold Breaker, only at Potawatomi. Visit paysbig.com/goldbreaker for more. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Get your grill on. How about those ribeyes, chuck roast, burgers, wieners delivered right to your doorstep? Go to ScholzieFamilyBeef.com. That's ScholzieFamilyBeef.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Good to have you. Thanks again for all of our sponsors, our terrific sponsors for the motorcycle ride this past weekend. Our friends at Growth Law, who do such a fantastic job protecting bikers' rights. One of the top law firms in the country, and it's right here in our own backyard. Our friends at Great Lakes Dragaway, who, by the way, keep checking out GreatLakesDragaway.com. GreatLakesDragaway.com. You've got an appearance coming up from the new Hall of Famer Leroy Butler. Also, Gilbert Brown, the Gravedigger, is going to be down there. So they still have some good things going on. The Rock Complex in Franklin, who was unbelievably gracious to us and put on one hell of a party. Our friends at Alpine Valley, who did a solid job. Also, our friends at Knucklehead, Scott and his staff were just nothing short of fantastic. Thanks to Kane & Kane Jewelers in West Bend, a huge supporter of the ride. And you got to follow the Instagram page, Buy Like a Guy with Andy Kane. It's fantastic. Also, our friends at Buzzard Billy's out in La Crosse for being a big supporter of veterans and being along for the ride this year, so to speak. Our friends at Potawatomi Hotel Casino and so much more. And obviously, Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. So a lot of great people, a lot of great sponsors, a lot of great opportunities all to be had. A new segment we're going to do. Stock up and stock down. We're going to do it normally on Mondays, but since we weren't here yesterday, we'll from the weekend, stock up and stock down. And Ben, at some point we're going to need our own theme song for this segment. You know what I mean?
Oh, I have some audio in the works.
Do you?
It is falling through the many cracks before it gets to me, but yeah, things are being ironed out.
Okay. I'm going to do a few of these things. On the stock up side, the Wisconsin Badgers get off to a nice start. They cover the spread. They played pretty solid. It's a game in which the coaches can look at some film and say, okay, here's some flaws. Here's some things to improve upon. Certainly a lot of positives to discuss. The Wisconsin Badgers. Stock down. LSU and Brian Kelly. Oh, that's a damn shame. Makes me smile. Stock up, Graham Mertz, who had a good game management day. No bad decisions, damn near perfect. One of his incomplete passes, a drop, but for the most part, did exactly what he was supposed to do. The offensive line kept him protected, but Graham Mertz with stock up. Stock down, and you may be surprised at this. Stock down, I'm going to say Ohio State.
Ooh.
I'm going to say Ohio State. They thought they were going to roll. They did not. They played well. Their defense stood the test in the second half. They put up 14 points after being down 10-7 at half. But you're at the shoe. They won a defensive struggle over Notre Dame, but still offensively not impressive. And Stroud does not. He's got to show me a little more. So we'll see. But Stroud, CJ Stroud has to show me a little more. But stock down would be Ohio State. Stock up. This could be a stock up and stock down in the same sentence. Stock up, Mitch Trubisky, named as the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers, getting new life coming out of Chicago, and we shall see if he ends up being the real deal or not. I don't think he will be, but nevertheless, he is now the starter, named today by Mike Tomlin for the Pittsburgh Steelers, which could also lead us into a stock down. If that's the best you've got, you got to figure the Pittsburgh Steelers now, when you talk about Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson both being in the same division, pretty much stock down. And when Deshaun Watson comes back, even as much as I dislike that cat, Mitch Trubisky is the fourth in 4 teams, the lowest ranked quarterback in that division by far. Also, the stock up and stock down, you can say it in one fell breath. That is the Milwaukee Brewers. Yes, stock up. They got a win yesterday when everybody else they're chasing lost. Stock down is they're not winning consistent games, and they're not winning consistently against teams that are under 500 down the stretch when they need to. They've left too much on the field. So you can do a stock up and stock down, a similarity between those two. So that is kind of my stock up and stock down. Ben, do you have some to go by?
Oh, I do. I'm with you. First of all, on Wisconsin, definitely with you on Mertz. He looked, if you want to overreact and not just make an observation, he looked different against Illinois State than he did last year in a good way. In terms of LSU, I think we can look at stock down, the LSU family, if you will. You want to say that with a Southern accent with Brian Kelly.
LSU
with,
down here, family. We're all family. And yeah, go ahead.
Maybe his Southern accent is just trending intensely down because
he's an ass.
I don't think they're going to be great this year. I don't think they're going to be that bad. Florida State's really strong up front, and they gave them trouble. But Kayshon Boutte, I mentioned it earlier, their All-American receiver, deleted LSU from his Instagram bio. So if you want to read the tea leaves there, unhappy. That's how the young kids express their feelings, if, that wasn't clear already. In terms of Ohio State, I'm going to go the different direction here. I think what I saw made me more scared of them this season because the big change during the offseason, they bring in Jim Knowles from Oklahoma State, great defensive coordinator. And last year, like their defense for their standards was pretty bad. It's the reason they lost a bunch of the games. The fact that they held a really good Notre Dame team to 10 points and really and they won it ugly. They suffocated them when they needed to. Shows me that they can win that way, which they couldn't do last season. And then I think the offense will come around. So I'm higher on Ohio State today than I was before the weekend. My biggest one, though, from Saturday, and I don't know if you watched this game, it was the most beautiful display of football maybe I've ever seen. Iowa against South Dakota State. The final score of the ball game was 7-3, which sounds normal. The thing is, Iowa and South Dakota State both did not score a touchdown. Iowa had a field goal and 2 safeties. They finished the game with 166 total yards. Their quarterback, Spencer Petras, had a passer rating of 1.1. It was an atrocious display of offensive football. So my stock down in this case is nepotism because Kirk Ferentz at the helm there.
His son is the play caller.
He will not get rid of his son, who is, anybody watching that game, any Iowa fan, any knower of college football, the first thing they will say when you ask them about Iowa is that they are one of the more atrocious offenses you will ever watch. I don't get it. So nepotism, the fact that he just won't move on from his son. That's my biggest stock down of the weekend.
One other stock up, and I failed to mention this, and I didn't really talk too much in depth about it when we had Zach Halpern on, was John Torchio. He stepped in front of that pass in the end zone, and there was anxiety that was starting to really come across fans at Camp Randall, and that anxiety just was wiped away. So Torchio gets another stock up for me because they rode that momentum all the way to, to the victory, so to speak. But there was a little bit of anxiety in that contest up until that point. So 3 minutes, 22 seconds apart swung everything for the Badgers. Torchio getting it, and then obviously Braylon Allen taking off after the fact, and pretty much they never looked back. But if I'm going to give out a game ball, that might be Torchio might be the guy because he kind of changed. He kind of changed the anxiety, so to speak, and that's then obviously the Badgers go on to victory. So that was another one that I failed to mention, but I wanted to make sure I got in there. But stock up and stock down. Should we do it at the same time every Monday?
I think so. Now that we're not off on Mondays moving forward,
right.
Noon on Monday could work quite well.
Noon on Monday. That's 12:30 on Monday sounds right. Noon is usually that's our big thing. That's big guests. But noon on 12:30 on Mondays, 12:30 Central Time on Mondays, we will do the stock up and stock down and get your thoughts on it as well. And you can also chime in.
It's also likely our weekly look at Brian Kelly failing. So I know you will enjoy it.
Stock down, can't get any lower. Brian Kelly sucks.
For me, I might just read the stat line of Iowa's punter every Monday to tell you how bad it is there in Iowa City. On Saturday, 10 punts, 479 yards, 2 touchbacks, 7 inside the 20. His long was 57. Heisman.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Love it. Love it. Let's do this. We're going to step away, take a quick break, come back. Got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. Still about an hour and 15 minutes yet to go. And we're going to hear, by the way, we heard from Zadarius Smith just a little while ago. Sammy Watkins and Christian Watson. We're going to hear from both of those guys as well coming up. Stay tuned. And Matt LaFleur. Did you play Matt LaFleur yesterday?
No.
Ben?
No.
Matt LaFleur spoke
yesterday.
So we're going to get into that. We're going to hear from Matt LaFleur as well. We still got a lot left to go. Stay tuned. Hang in there. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Wisconsin isn't snobby, snooty, or pretentious. It's Midwestern charm at its finest. And that's exactly what Forgotten Fire Winery in Peshtigo is all about. Fun in a bottle without the attitude. You can find their full wine and cider lineup in their tasting room or in liquor and grocery stores throughout the state. The winery is a great place to get away for wine and cider tastings, great live music, and private events all year long. Remember, any time is a great time for Forgotten Fire wines and ciders. Wisconsin wine made from Wisconsin people. One of the worst things that you can hear, you have cancer. The worst is when you hear the words, your child has cancer. When a child is diagnosed with cancer, it changes their world. Sometimes they can't even do things that they really love, like playing soccer, riding a bike, going to prom, attending school. Children with cancer spend a lot of time away from others, time in the hospital, treatments, tired, nauseous, and they feel isolated. That's where Special Spaces Wisconsin steps in. They provide these children with a special space where they can not only sleep, but they can play, they can heal, they can spend time away from the challenges of their illness. It's a customized bedroom designed just for them. How about a princess castle or a pirate ship or a sports-themed bedroom? They transform that child's existing bedroom into a place that only he or she can imagine, a place for them just to be a kid. This effort is done with teams of dedicated volunteers and sponsors, just like our friends from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and all the community partners. If you'd like to find out more or to donate, go to specialspaces.org. That is specialspaces.org.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Now, in Green Bay, here's Mike Clemens.
The Packers are getting ready for Sunday's game against the Vikings in Minnesota. During a light workout yesterday, Elgton Jenkins participated, and for the first time, David Bakhtiari ran some 11-on-11 team drills at left tackle. Head coach Matt LaFleur.
Just really knock all the rust off, right? Get them reacclimated and, just get some good work. I just think the cumulative effect of having a bonus Monday and then you go or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it can add a lot of load on the guys, and we want to make sure that they're fresh and ready to go for Sunday.
Wide receiver Alan Lazard sat out practice with an undisclosed injury. Rookie Christian Watson took some snaps. He had his right knee scoped in June.
I feel really good. Definitely feel like I'm in a really good place. Definitely feel like I took advantage of the past 2 weeks that I've been back out there. I'm still trying to go every single day, and obviously, take it one day at a time and prepare, for this week one. But I'm definitely excited where I'm at, and excited to keep on going.
The Vikings made several moves and trades in the past week, including dealing away some draft picks to the Eagles for receiver Jalen Reagor. The Vikings' new head coach Kevin O'Connell asked if Reagor, who was once clocked with 4.3 speed, could return punts this week.
We're going to give him every opportunity to do that. Jalen's excited about that opportunity. I think he's got some good experience doing that. Obviously, some real flashes of doing that at a high level. We'll get him going from day one today and see where he's at going into Green Bay.
Reagor on arriving in Minnesota just days before facing the Packers.
Leaving automatically from Philly coming here, and I felt welcome being here because I believe, what's slow is for sure, what's fast don't last. So you just take it, take it a day at a time, and whatever happens, happens.
That's Vikings receiver Jalen Reagor. In Green Bay, I'm Mike Clemens on The Bill Michaels Show.
Good to have you on board today. Hey, a veteran-owned company right here in our own backyard, our friends at Burn Pit Barbecue, burnpitbbq.com. That is burnpitbbq.com. Again, burnpitbbq.com. And whether it's the good sauces, hot sauces, rubs, don't forget, like I said, they're right here in our own backyard, based out in Racine, Wisconsin. Two good guys started the company, like I said, veterans as well. But not only are we support that kind of a company, but it's a really good product. It is really, really good. So check out burnpitbbq.com. That's burnpitbbq.com. Check them out for yourself. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to hear from Matt LaFleur, going to hear from Sammy Watkins, going to hear from Christian Watson, some of the comments coming out of yesterday as well. This one's from Dave. Dave said, looking forward to the Green Bay Packers season. Got to beat the Minnesota Vikings. You're going to give them a lot of confidence. If you can't, and that could be a team that could be a thorn in the side of the Green Bay Packers. If they get a win over the Packers early, then they gain confidence. You have to put them away. I get what you're saying, because you can play on adrenaline. You can play on emotion. You can feel good about yourself and get your pep in your step, so to speak, early on when it comes to football. Football is different than baseball. However, I don't look at this as, because you're almost posing this as a must-win game, and it's not. You want to win the game, don't get me wrong, and it's a divisional game. You don't want to lose that. But this is not, for the Packers, it's not a must-win game. Maybe if you're looking at it from the Vikings perspective to say, hey, if we're going to win the division, have a legitimate shot, we got to beat the Packers. And if you can't do that, well, then, yeah, I get it. But for the Green Bay Packers, this is a game of look a lot better than you did in week one last year. Be on more of the same page, look better, look like you're ready to go. Be ready, so to speak. And that to me, that's probably the bigger concern. One note we did not mention, and we should. I have failed to, and shame on me, but over the weekend, Herb Kohler passed away. The executive chairman, Herbert V. Kohler, passed at the age of 83. He had a 61-year career at Kohler Company, admired by many, not only as a guy that, obviously had a tremendous company, but he was a huge personality and obviously put Wisconsin on the map between him and Pete Dye when it came to the PGA Championship, many golf events now here in the state because of many of his accomplishments, contributions. He's going to have a lasting impact. And I knew he was in relatively poor health, but it was a sad day the other day, when I found out that Herb Kohler had passed. I don't know why, but back in 99, when I first got here, he was a fan and had called me up and asked me to be a part of an opening. And I wasn't able to do it. He couldn't understand why. And it was because my commitment to the Green Bay Packers. So the next time there was an opportunity, I had gone to the opening of the Irish course on the backside of Whistling Straits. And as I'm playing the media opening, so to speak, of the Irish course, over the hill comes this gentleman in a golf cart with another gentleman and a dog. And I'll never forget, he sought me out. He came over, shook my hand, appreciated what I did, and wanted to know what I thought of this course. And I said, at the time, I said, I think it's really cool. I said, it's a tremendous facility. It's something unlike I've ever seen. And I said, the one thing I would do is if you're going to have golf carts on the course, keep them on the cart path, because it's too beautiful a course to allow people to start running amok through it. And he leaned over in that deep, if you knew Herb Kohler, in that deep voice, and he said, "I like the way you think." And from that point on, it was like we were friends. And I have always admired him, have always enjoyed him. Love to get a chance. I talked with him when he had the LPGA up at Black Wolf Run, but it was a sad day when I found out that he had passed away, because he was just truly a very unique and one-of-a-kind guy. So it's very sad that Herb Kohler has left us, but he left an incredible imprint, not only here on the state of Wisconsin, but in many of our lives. And he'll be missed, no doubt. Stay tuned. Got another hour of the Bill Michaels Show yet to go. We'll be back right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Packers are getting the day off after being on the field for the first time in 3 days yesterday. They're preparing for their season opener on Sunday in Minnesota. Going to be the first game in the green and gold for wide receiver Sammy Watkins.
Just really ready to put all my hard work to test. It's a divisional game, and just really ready to go out there and have fun, play good football.
Watkins figures to be heavily involved in the offense, especially with the uncertainty around Al Lazard's status for the opener.
For me, it's about winning, and whatever I have to do to go out there and get a win, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not too much focused on how well I'm going to play. When I'm right and healthy, I play well. So it's really going out there, putting everything together, what I practice on in practice, and putting it to a test come this Sunday.
A major question for the Packers, whether they'll have tackles David Bakhtiari or Elton Jenkins. Bakhtiari returned to team drills for the first time since last season. ESPN reported he's on track to start. Bakhtiari tried to tone that down, saying on Twitter that he's day-to-day. Jenkins seems the more likely of the two to miss the game. He's not taken part in team drills yet. First injury report of the week comes tomorrow. Turning to Wisconsin, they're 17-point favorites over Washington State on Saturday afternoon. Badgers open the year with a 38-0 win over Illinois State. Kick on Saturday is set for 2:30.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up, and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Well, the Brewers earned a 6-4 win over Colorado yesterday afternoon. Victor Caratini hit a 3-run homer to break a tie in the sixth. It has them 2 games back to Philadelphia for the final wild card spot. They'll face the Rockies again tonight. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show on this Tuesday. Getting after it. Brewers back at it. Badgers getting ready next week for Washington State. Packers getting ready for the Minnesota Vikings. And so we got a lot going on. A lot in the area going on. I encourage you later today, reminder, if you, follow us on the Facebook fan page, follow me on Instagram, follow the website or the Facebook page that is the motorcycle ride, the Big Unit Poker Run, facebook.com/Big Unit Poker Run. Follow us there. A really cool video coming out this evening. It'll be probably more this evening than it is this afternoon. Still some work to do on it. But I got a letter today, and it's just a really cool thing. Really cool thing. So we'll talk about that later today, but be on the lookout for it. You're not going to want to miss it. 877-867-1670. Dan says, no way the Green Bay Packers walk out of US Bank Stadium without a victory. I believe the Packers get a win. I believe they set the tone for the season with their new look offense without Devontae Adams, and Aaron Rodgers is going to be an even better quarterback. I think everybody's worrying for nothing. I don't think let me say this. I'm not thinking that the Packers offense is going to fail. I just think it's going to take a little time to kind of get into a comfort zone. This is kind of to set the tone for the season for the Minnesota Vikings is kind of their Super Bowl-esque, if you will. It's their opener, new head coach. They've stockpiled some additional talent defensively. They feel like they filled some holes. Offensive line is a little bit better. They feel like this is their big shot. Zadarius Smith is coming after Aaron Rodgers, even though he won't say it. We all know it. This is their big, they're tied with the Packers and everybody else in the division right now. They can be the leaders in the clubhouse, so to speak, after week one with a win over the division leader and being able to set the tone and creating a lot of optimism in their own backyard. I think this is a big game for Minnesota, as big as you can say a week one game would be. That's just my thought. Ben, do you agree that this is a really big game for Minnesota and a game in which you just want to play well? And if you play well, you'll believe your win. But if you play well and, you kind of shed the ugliness from the start of last season, it's that kind of game for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah. I mean, the Packers know who they are, and they also know what they will be when a lot of the linemen come back and are fully healthy. The Vikings, this is kind of a vibe check kind of game, if you will. Because a lot has come out over the last couple months and weeks about Zimmer last year and how much of a disaster it was. So they're excited about their new head coach. If they win this game, then they're off and running. They feel like they can maybe win the division. A loss puts them massively behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
And for a new team with a new coach, these games are even more important.
Let's do this. Yesterday, Matt LaFleur had a chance to meet with the media as he starts to set the tone for this week, moving forward into Vikings week. Take a listen to what the head coach of the Green Bay Packers had to say.
I know. It's quick turnaround time between now and the start of practice. So get those questions in fast, because I gave him 5 minutes.
So since you won't let us watch team periods, can you tell us if Dave and Elton are doing team stuff today?
We'll see when we get out there, but the hope is that David will be out there.
Do you expect both to be starting on Sunday?
We'll have to find out on Sunday.
Is there any concern about Allen for this week? His availability?
I think Allen's doing better, but we'll see as the week progresses where he's at.
Matt, what have you liked about Christian's development as he's come off of club, and where is his standing as you guys look at week one?
Yeah, it's certainly, you guys can see the physical skills, the speed and power that he possesses. I think he's still got a lot to learn, and, we're trying to acclimate him as fast as humanly possible. But we'll get more into the game plan specifics for him. We'll have a plan for him, and we'll kind of see where it goes.
So do you expect him to play Sunday?
Christian? That's the hope, but again, we'll see where he's at coming at the end of the week.
Matt, were you happy with the work? Were you happy with the work that you guys were able to get in on Wednesday? I know Aaron and some of the guys talked about how effective they felt that format was with the practice.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of good work. I think there was a lot of things that we need to clean up from that practice. It definitely puts more stress on the guys when it's all call it, and you have no idea what's coming. And I thought it was good from just a conditioning standpoint to see where we're at. And, I told the guys, if you're sucking wind right now, you better make sure you're getting a couple workouts, between Thursday through today.
You named season captains, Matt?
We have not.
What do you do for today? I mean, when you have a full week of practice, what are you trying to accomplish today?
Well, just really knock all the rust off, right? And get them reacclimated. And, just get some good work. It's going to be short because I just think the cumulative effect of having a bonus Monday and then you go hard Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it can add a lot of load on the guys. And we want to make sure that they're fresh and ready to go for Sunday. So we make sure that we're really intentional with how much time we're out there and what exactly we're doing. But no, I love these days because it kind of gets the weekend out of everybody and make sure that on Wednesday we're locked in, ready to go.
Same plan you normally do when they come in Wednesday is when you present them the game plan, or
Yes.
doing that in general?
Yeah, no, typically, and there's been a lot of things, I think, around the league. I'm sure there's a lot of game planning that's already kind of transpired prior to today. And I know we're kind of in that boat right now. So, it's definitely given us an opportunity to get a jump on some of the things we might want to do in a game. Good to go? All right. See you guys.
There you go. Matt LaFleur, quick. There you have it. Yesterday, meeting with the media, and he kind of put it out there that, Bakhtiari should be good to go. And Bakhtiari kind of said, hey, slow your roll. Slow your roll. By the way, big watch party going on this weekend. If you're thinking about a place to go in the Milwaukee area and watch the Green Bay Packers take on the Minnesota Vikings or the Badgers, or head to a Brewers game, shuttles, check out the games on a daily. Our friends at Stenny's, second and National Walker's Point, the best wings you put in your grill, plus the home of the Bill Michaels garlic cheese bread, and just a great staff and great people. That is our friends at Stenny's, running shuttles to anything and everything. And once it all gets going for real downtown, whether it's Bucks games, Admirals games, Marquette games, they're going to be taking people up to Packers games, still the Brewers, the rest of the Brewers season, out to the Badgers games. They got it all going on. That is Stenny's, second and National Walker's Point, the best sports bar in the city of Milwaukee. This one's from Mike. Mike says a couple of things. I predicted the Badgers would win. I thought they would win by 32, not 33. He also said, did you read it? The boat that was used as the SS Minnow in Gilligan's Island was a 1964 wheeler with a cruising speed of 12 knots, which means they couldn't have traveled more than about 41 and a half miles in a 3-hour tour. I'm starting to doubt if the show was even real. Mike, your mental case.
I saw that too, Bill.
Okay.
I thought that was big news.
I was like, okay, when the hell did that come out? Oh, yeah, you got it right there. You got it right there. Mike Leach put that out too. Okay, I didn't even see that. Mike Leach, the head football coach of Mississippi State, he put that out as well. All right. Then, Mike, you're not the only mental case in the group. There's plenty of people that are. These are the kind of things that keep people up at night, I guess, to prove whether or not something was or wasn't real. I will say this. I believe there was a moon landing. I do not believe Gilligan and the skipper and such existed on Gilligan's Island. There was just too many wardrobe changes. I'm just throwing it out there. Oh, man. That's funny. That's funny. Complicated fellow wants to know if Quick Trip's putting in an underground gas station in the Packers underground parking lot so that they don't have to get cold fueling their cars. LOL. No, I don't believe so. But there may be one of those breakfast bars with those great breakfast sandwiches that they have down there in the bottom underground parking garage. Who knows? Maybe that'll happen. But that'd be kind of cool, though, wouldn't it? If Quick Trip did put something like that down there. I don't think it's going to happen, but that'd be kind of cool.
Shout out to Quick Trip, by the way. The one near our office here, I think, has the lowest gas prices in the state.
Really? What are they right now?
$3.11, $3.12.
Shut up! Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's like $3.40 something here, and I thought that was low near me. Well, $3.11. Damn, that's the way to go. I didn't know that. Take that in a heartbeat. This one's from Dobie. Dobie says, hey, unit, just love the program. Love what you guys did this past weekend. Great speech on the stage at Wisconsin Harley. It was fun seeing Jesse James Dupree and the band kick ass at the museum. How many bikes did you end up with? Dobie, you're going to have to find out. You're going to have to find out later on today. We're going to post the video. Going to post the video, and it'll tell you all the details and such, but we'll throw it out there. I gave the final count on stage, at least as best we could, based upon some of the officers from the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department and the Milwaukee Police Department who gave us a count. So, but we beat the record of 767. We were hoping for 800, and we not only beat it, we shattered that. But we'll give you the final total coming up here in the video later on today. It's hard to keep that secret, but we will. Our buddy Loopy says, heading up to Tomahawk. I am. We'll be up in Tomahawk next week, as a matter of fact. The schedule is Minneapolis Saturday, Sunday, into Chippewa Falls Sunday night and Monday. I got to find a play. I guess I could do the show from our fine affiliate in Eau Claire, because that's right there by Chippewa Falls. We could do that on Monday, and then probably going to head into the studios in La Crosse on Tuesday, and then from there, it is all the Ben Kenny show on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week, as we'll be at the Tomahawk Fall Ride doing some charity work. Maybe stopping into our fine affiliate up there in Tomahawk that's on with us now, WJJQ, and then into Green Bay on Sunday. I will say Saturday night, speaking of Jackal, they're going to be on the stage at Bonnie and Clyde Gangsters Park. Yeah, they're going to be hanging out there on next Saturday night for the Tomahawk Fall Ride. The culmination of that, which should be a lot of fun. And then to Green Bay on Sunday, and then back home on Monday. So it's a lot of travel coming up. Where's the Wednesday night huddle tomorrow night, Ben? Do you know?
That I do not.
I
can
have
find that out as well.
I have not looked. So I got to do that. Because don't forget, we have the huddle again tomorrow night. We are creeping up on Wednesday rather quickly. So I'm anticipating that as well. Cannot wait. Jay says, where in Chippewa Falls? We're going to be at Wissota High Shores Supper Club. The tickets for that are on sale. I believe go to Tobacco Outlet Plus Grocery. That's tobaccooutletplusgrocery.com and see if there's tickets still available. So that's the best I could tell you. Oh, by the way, Bruce says $2.99 in Hickston this weekend. Jay says $3.39 in Stanley. So it is coming down, I guess. And Kevin says, where's the website? It's going to be posted on the Facebook fan page, the Facebook page for the motorcycle ride, and any place else we can find it. Over probably on the Instagram page as well. If you follow me, The Real Bill Michaels on Instagram. The Real Bill Michaels on Instagram as well. So plenty of different places to find it. And maybe we'll post it over on the YouTube channel too. So a lot of good stuff. Let's do this. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and a lot more to get to. We are going to hear from Sammy Watkins and Christian Watson coming up here at the bottom of the hour. So stay tuned for that. A lot more to get to before we get out of here today. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Mountain Dew Pull Tab Game is your chance to win an adventure-ready Winnebago Revel from Quick Trip. Go off-road and off-grid with a fully equipped Winnebago Revel by playing in your Quick Rewards app.
Earn extra plays by purchasing participating Mountain Dew Energy, Bubbler, Muscle Milk, or Evolve beverages with Quick Rewards. Adventure begins where the pavement ends with Quick Trip and Mountain Dew. Download the Quick Rewards app today. No purchase necessary. See QuickTrip.com/sweepstakes for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Good to have you. Good to have you on board. The Bill Michaels Show continues on, and Brewers back at it, taking on the Colorado Rockies coming up. Still trying to kind of, hold on to some hope. Hold on to some hope before everything begins to dwindle away. So that's coming up a little bit later on this evening. Brewers taking on the Rockies. Brandon Woodruff goes to the hill against Cool, coming up at 7:40 Central Time. 7:40 Central Time. Some of the teams ahead of the Brewers, obviously the Cardinals taking on the Nationals again. And also you've got San Diego. San Diego is facing the Diamondbacks out in San Diego. So that's coming up later on this evening as well. I believe the Phillies are hosting the Marlins tonight too. So another team that's trending right there above the Milwaukee Brewers. So the Phillies are hosting the Marlins. So not a lot of
that one's sure to go great, by the way.
Luzardo going against Nola tonight. There you go. The confident, ever confident Ben Kenny. There you go. Coming up after the bottom of the hour, Sammy Watkins, Christian Watson. You're going to hear from both of those guys as well. So that's coming up. I did want to get to a couple of the emails. This one is from our buddy Steve. He says, first of all, congratulations on a successful weekend ride for the Fisher House. Second, a nice opener from Bucky. I must admit, I was a bit surprised that Illinois State marched down the field, but then the pick six by Torchio was awesome. Braylon Allen looked to be in midseason form. And my guess is that you'll start hearing his name as a Heisman candidate. Nice, clean game by Graham Mertz. He was accurate and looked comfortable and confident in the pocket. Third, it's the Packers-Vikings week for what it's worth. I'm glad that they are getting this game with the horned Helgas and that stupid Viking horn skull out of the way. I would like nothing better than a new Paul Allen call next Monday with Cousins throwing a pick and the Packers icing the game. How sweet would that be? Have a great, albeit short week. That's our buddy Steve listening in Richfield. Steve, I love it. This is from Jason. This is my cousin and I have been talking about, and over on the Bud Light live stream, by the way, talking about the Packers-Vikings game. He said the Packers win 28-23, and I said the Vikings win 23-17. Of course, he believes Tampa is going to win 13 games, and Brady will have another 5,000-yard plus passing season. We do not agree. Your thoughts? I think you might be onto something with the Packers taking a loss and the Vikings getting a win. Maybe it is 23-17. Here's the quandary I have, and you bring up a good point in that sense in the score. So if the Vikings come out and put up 23 on this vaunted defense that everybody believes is so much better, then we would have to say, was it a failure by the defense or was it a failure by the offense if the offense is only able to muster 17? Could it be a really low-scoring game and say 17-10, 17-13, something like that, where the Packers move the ball, but they can't convert, so they kick field goals, but yet the defense plays extremely well and gives you that level of optimism because they could still then be a highly ranked defense and only giving up 17. But if they give up 23 and they lose, and the Packers can only muster 17, it's kind of an all-around failure then, isn't it? Or do you look at it as, well, it's better than last year, the 30-3 ass whooping they took at the hands of the New Orleans Saints? As far as Brady goes, I think this year for Brady is going to be less. There's a couple of reasons. One, you don't have Gronk to cover. They've got some guys that are banged up. Their offensive line is down. And Brady, you got to question at least a little bit of the commitment, don't you? I mean, you can't argue with it because the guy's got pockets full of rings. But you have to say, I think, that he has kind of displayed the fact that, yeah, I've got both feet in, but am I totally committed? So the 5,000 yard plus passing season, I think the only way they are a team that is considered for a Super Bowl is if he throws for 5,000 yards, because while their run game is good and their offensive line is decent, I don't think that's going to sustain. I think it's going to be the passing game and Tom Brady that is actually going to be better. 877-867-1670. Just so you know. But I would think Brady is going to, I'd probably say 4,300 for Brady. Just an FYI. 4,300 for Brady. I'll go there. The over and under is probably over just because of what he's done in the past, but that's kind of where I would be. Just a thought. 877-867-1670. Again, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. 877-867-1670. Get your thoughts. I haven't, I've always said that I believe the Packers are going to lose this game. So I'm not going to deviate from that. But that's a great question. What would the score be? We'll give official picks at the end of the week. We'll get into that at the end of the week. Hey, some other news out of Bears camp, because the Bears, they are unveiling the first proposal for their new domed stadium and entertainment district in Arlington Heights. So, the preliminary vision, as they put it, is for all of this parking, and is now, Ben, is that, and again, I'm looking at this, so if you can't see this, obviously I apologize, or you haven't seen it, I apologize. But is that thing that looks like a big giant hunk of bread sticking up, is that the stadium?
I guess so. Yeah. To me, it's pretty soft, just generally making dome stadiums in northern climates, but
right.
It appears to be what they're looking at.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of like the Walmart version of the Raiders Stadium. It's like the Raiders Stadium if it was designed by a fourth grader.
It looks like a giant loaf of bread. I just retweeted it in case you haven't seen it, but it looks like
it's like a bar of soap.
Yeah, maybe even that might be a better description. Okay. A lot of parking, a lot of entertainment in that area, putting it where they're putting it. So, okay. But if you haven't seen it already, I just retweeted it, so you can go there and check it out. But yeah, giant bar of soap might be a better description. That might be a better description. You could be right. But yeah, it looks goofy. Not that I would expect anything different from the Bears. I mean, after all, they're the ones that put together that grand plan for that giant hunk of crap they call Soldier Field. But yeah, it looks goofy. That is the stadium, though, by the way. That is the stadium looking straight down on what they call the mixed use district for many different things in that district. And they've even got the train, the metro then would come into that area, and they would actually have a train station there for commuters on what they would call Commuter Drive. So anyway, I'm getting too deep into this because you probably don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But yeah, so right off of 53 and Commuter Drive is where, and Euclid Avenue is where the new stadium district is proposed. Okay. Well, it would seem then that they are forging ahead. And as Brad Biggs said to us last week, yeah, it's pretty much a given that they're gone. Pretty much a given that the Bears are out the door. They're heading off to other pastures, if you will. 877-867-16. All right, coming up. Going to hear from Christian Watson and from Sammy Watkins, both of those guys, as they kind of met with the media a little bit yesterday. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Forgotten Fire Winery. Jake, Melissa, and Chris, great people, great staff up there at Forgotten Fire, and they were kind enough to donate a really cool package to the Fisher House, Wisconsin golf outing. That paired up with a package from our friends at Four Seasons Island Resort. And it was a behind-the-scenes tour of the back kettles of the winery, how they do things, a private tasting with Jake, the winemaker, and just a cool weekend there. So they do a lot. They not only are they open, but they do really cool stuff as well, along with charitable events. So don't forget about our friends at Forgotten Fire Winery. And don't forget, if you stop in Peshtigo, go in and ask for the Bill Michaels special, whatever that happens to be. They got something for you. But you got to ask for it by name. Go to ForgottenFireWinery.com, ForgottenFireWinery.com to see what they have to offer, see what's in season. The ciders are coming back, pumpkin spice stuff is coming back, even at the winery. And you can find it in many grocery stores, liquor stores, wine stores. And again, there's one place to go. I mean, I know that there are others in the state of Wisconsin that consider themselves bigger and better. And Forgotten Fire Winery says, we don't care. We like people who enjoy our wines and not just the name, just so you can stick your pinky out and go, yeah. Forgotten Fire is party in a bottle. It's made by Wisconsinites for Wisconsin and people who just like to enjoy good wine. That's our friends at Forgotten Fire Winery. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Tina Della from Pella here. Wayne Larrabee and his wife Julie took advantage of our wide range of beautiful wood designs that can be painted, stained, or unfinished to complement any decor.
We have a lot of windows in this house. You match the craftsmanship of the woodwork around those windows to a T. That's a talented group of people doing that.
We like our wood tones, and so the ability to have wood tones some places and the white windows others, it worked really well for us and allowed us to have exactly what we wanted.
Pella's team of expert installers always provides service of the highest quality, starting with an in-home consultation and ending with no hassle or mess, leaving nothing but perfect results that stand the test of time. We have the best wood warranty in the industry to prove it. There's no reason to wait any longer because right now, put no money down, make no payments, and be charged 0 interest for up to 24 months. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Get started today at PellaWI.com.
Expires 9/30/2022. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Are you a gold breaker? Play your favorite games at Potawatomi Sunday afternoons now through September, and you could win your share of $1 million in prizes. Break the code, win the $10,000 top jackpot, and everyone playing slots also wins a prize. Anyone can win on any machine again and again. Do you have the golden touch? Gold Breaker, only at Potawatomi. Visit paysbig.com/goldbreaker for more. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Hey, by the way, tomorrow we're going to be at Mason's Pub in Kenosha. On 74th Street, 74th Place, Mason's Pub in Kenosha tomorrow night for the Bill Michaels Huddle. Way down in Kenosha. We don't get down there very often. So Kenosha tomorrow night, you can find us. Looking forward to that. Mason's Pub in Kenosha, 74th Place, 7074th Place, Kenosha, Wisconsin. Go down and see Mike and his staff down there tomorrow night. So there you go. Mason's Pub in Kenosha. Also, the top 25 is out. Top 25 is out. The new top 25 poll. Not that it really means a whole lot. Alabama getting a big win, 55-0. You figured they'd stay number one. Georgia, 49-3. They stay number two. Ohio State, 21-10 over Notre Dame. They stay number three. Actually, they drop. Georgia comes up from 3-2. Ohio State falls from 2-3. Michigan comes up from number 8 after getting the 51. Michigan now number 4 in the country, 51-7 win over Colorado State. Clemson, who was number 4, falls to number 5 after the 41-10 win over Georgia Tech. Texas A&M staying the same. Oklahoma comes up from number 9 to number 7. Notre Dame falls from number 5 down to number 8. They've got Marshall next week. Baylor comes up one spot from number 10 to number 9. USC from number 14 to number 10. They got a win, 66-14 over Rice. Oklahoma State, Florida. The Gators were unranked last week. Unranked, and they go from unranked to number 12. That's baffling. That is baffling after they beat number 7 Utah. That to go from unranked to number 12, that's a little interesting. Then you go on from there, and then you get down to the Badgers. Badgers were number 18 last week. They fall to number 19. It's a no! Acclimating quarterback Graham Mertz with the new offensive coordinator Bobby Ingram was important, and Mertz had only a couple of incompletions on 16 attempts, having Mertz gain confidence in his decision-making and giving him play calls to succeed. Going to help the Wisconsin Badgers as they have to play Ohio State in the 4th game of the season. Mertz having consistency this season could be the key for the Badgers to make it back to the Big Ten title game, but they don't give the Badgers credit for a 38-0 win. They actually fall one spot. How about that? BYU comes up from 25 to 21, which still is astounding to me that the Florida Gators jump from unranked up, 13 spots then on the outside looking into number 12 in the country. So, again, just proof that, we do pay attention to it, no doubt. But yeah, it's a little. And Cincinnati drops out. So does Oregon. Oregon falls not only from number 11, they fall completely out of the top 25. Cincinnati falls out. They were number 23 in the country. They got beat by Arkansas in a tough game. I thought they may hang on to number 25, but they fall out of the top 25. But Oregon goes from number 11 to see ya. How about that? Talk about a butt kick out of the joint. Thanks for playing. Talk to you later. So
it's kind of unfair, I'd say. Georgia will do that to everybody, not named Alabama.
I think it's ridiculous that they fall out. And I also think that it's ridiculous that Florida goes from unranked to 12. It's no surprise to see the Gators get into the top 25 with the upset of 29-26 of Utah. But after the way last season ended, nobody knew what to expect out of that group. But they get a win, but to go from unranked to number 12, that's a little bit of a head scratcher as well.
They were also only 3-point underdogs at home. It's not like it was a drastic upset. Many thought that they would win that game.
Yeah. Okay. This is why some of the people that vote are just like they're head scratchers in this. But that's the AP top 25. Badgers fall one spot from 18 to 19 in the AP top 25. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and I promise you, Sammy Watkins, Christian Watson, when we return, along with our update from our buddy Mike Clemens. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Robert's Specialty Meats. Going to do some grilling this week or tailgating this week. It's Robert's Specialty Meats, Waukesha.com. Robert's Specialty Meats, Waukesha.com. Ribs on a stick, the garlic parm chicken skewers, whether it's steaks, chops, whatever it happens to be, they have it. Even the Al Capone sausages. Oh, they're so good. The Al Capone sausages or the Al Capone roast. Another fine staple from Robert's Specialty Meats, Waukesha.com. Robert's Specialty Meats, Waukesha.com. Good stuff. Really good stuff out of them. Oh, I love the Al Capone. Always good. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
In Green Bay, here's Mike Clemens.
The Packers getting ready to take on the Minnesota Vikings Sunday in Minnesota. Vikings wide receiver Alan Lazard did not practice yesterday with the team. The first injury report is due out tomorrow. Veteran Sammy Watkins was asked if he feels at home with the Packers playbook and Aaron Rodgers.
I can say I'm finally comfortable to where I can go out there and compete, smile, have fun, and not be too serious. Really, I'm in the point where I'm just having fun, and as far as different coverages and where I need to be at on certain plays, and that's when football becomes fun, and I can go out there and do everything in my best to make plays.
Mason Crosby was at practice. He had a birthday, turned 38 over the weekend, but the team signed kicker Ramiz Ahmed, who was in camp as a backup, to round out the practice squad to 16. The Vikings have several new members, both coaches and players, some that are former Packers, including linebacker Zadarius Smith, who spoke to reporters. He turns 30 on Thursday.
Very excited, man, and can't wait. Been preparing for this time to come for a while now, so it's finally here and I'm ready.
Any extra incentive or anything along those lines? Or?
Nah,
Because they did let you go,
They did, and I came to the other side. But, at the end of the day, it's a game. Just happy, can't wait. 6 days away, man. I'm just very excited. Birthday coming up, too, so hopefully we get a dub for my birthday.
That's the Vikings' Zadarius Smith in Green Bay. I'm Mike Clemens on the Bill Michaels Show.
One of the things I love to do when I get friends that come to town, that is take them to, when we want to go to dinner, there's a lot of places I go, but I always try to get them down to Gino's down at Calderon Club. And some friends came into town from Arizona this past week. I think if you were out at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson, you saw Steve and the gang from Sound Art USA, which is a spectacular product. It is, you got to see it to really appreciate it, but it's just such a cool product. But it's basically speakers in a canvas print, and they can take anything that you send them and turn it into this beautiful canvas print and then put Bluetooth speakers in it. And it's so cool. So anyway, long story short, I took them all down to Gino's, down to Calderon Club, ordered up the Bill Michaels. They paired it up with Cider Boys, and they were wow. Now, Steve grew up across the street from me, Italian family. We all had the Italian families in the neighborhood. We all had great cooking. And our moms were fantastic, but he was like, oh, okay, this is the real deal. Oh, you better believe it. The chicken marsala, the spicy penny pasta, it was fantastic. So thanks to Gino, the gang down at San Giorgio and Calderon Club, our guys at Point, they pair that up with Cider Boys down there. We had just a really nice meal, good meal, little wine after the fact, but oh, what a great day. What a great day. And that, I always recommend it. Highly. San Giorgio and Calderon Club. Okay, before we get out of here, we want to get back to some of the comments coming from Sammy Watkins and Christian Watson. Sammy Watkins coming up on his first game as a Green Bay Packer, and it's against an NFC rival in the Minnesota Vikings.
I'm just really ready to put all my hard work to test. It's a divisional game. Just really ready to go out there and have fun, play good football.
So Sammy Watkins was asked, look, last year you were plagued with injuries, and that's kind of what you have become known for. And so, your first game coming up, week 1, as a Green Bay Packer, what are you hoping for?
Really just getting off to a good start, getting a win. I think for me, it's about winning. And whatever I have to do to go out there and get a win, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not too much focused on how well I'm going to play. When I'm right and healthy, I play well. So it's really going out there, putting everything together, what I practice on in practice, and putting it to a test come this Sunday, and going out there really having fun and making the plays that's presented to me. But ultimately, I'm going out there trying to win a game, and that's what I'm focused on.
So, Sammy Watkins coming into this, he was the veteran they picked up in the offseason. We all know that. And the question always is, well, you got to get on the same page, so to speak. So does he feel up to speed with the Packers offensive playbook? And is he on the same page? Is he in sync with Aaron Rodgers?
I can say I'm finally comfortable to where I can go out there and compete, smile, have fun, and not be too serious. Really, I'm in the point where I'm just having fun, and as far as different coverages and where I need to be at on certain plays, and that's when football becomes fun, and I can go out there and do everything in my best to make plays.
So we know that the starters really haven't played any preseason. The question is, have you guys been focusing solely on looking at game film and getting ready in preparation to fend off what happened last year against New Orleans? Had they been looking at a lot of Vikings film since late August?
I think when you're doing camping, you're going against the defense all the time. I'm pretty sure it's always Vikings. It's somewhere down there where we're working on them. And every day because now it's here now. So every day is to focus on the Vikings and see where we can get our niche at on certain plays in certain situations.
Christian Watson, he had the right knee scoped, and right after the mini camp, and so he was asked, look, are you ready? Is the knee okay?
I feel really good. Definitely feel like I'm in a really good place. Definitely feel like I took advantage of the past 2 weeks that I've been back out there. I'm still trying to grow every single day, and obviously take it one day at a time and prepare for this week one. But I'm definitely excited where I'm at, and excited to keep on going.
So some guys waiting to be cleared medically to play in this upcoming contest. He's one of them. So if he does get the clearance to play, could he play the whole game after missing an entire preseason, basically?
I definitely, feel like there'll be a little bit of nerve there, it being my first one, but, I'm confident in myself, I'm confident, in the playbook and everything. And, if I do get the chance, I feel like I'll be ready to go.
Now, there's one thing in knowing the playbook, what play is being run. There's another thing in knowing your route tree, inside, outside, where Aaron Rodgers wants you to go versus where maybe the play is designed to go. Why does he feel so confident that he's ready to go mentally for week one?
Mentally, throughout, just taking those mental reps and making sure that I'm still locked in, even though that I wasn't going, more reps mentally than I would have, physically. And, I was just made sure I was locked in the whole time. But, I just, took it one day at a time, even though I wasn't out there, stayed in the playbook, stayed with the mental reps. And, I felt like I was in a good place when I came back. And then obviously, the physical comfortability came, when I got back out there as well. So
has the reality set in that he could be playing, if he's medically cleared, he could be playing his first NFL game ever? That's got to be kind of cool.
It's hit me. But it's nothing but excitement. I'm excited to get out there. I'm excited to strap it up. I'm here to play ball and, ready to, get a shot to do that.
He was also asked, how has he mentally kind of prepared himself for the fact that, this is his first NFL game, if indeed he does play, and how hard is it not to get too nervous or get too excited on game day?
I just, I'm attacking every single day like I'm playing. So for me, it's been kind of the same mindset throughout. Even in the preseason games, I knew when I was starting to get the team reps, I just kind of took it each and every day like I was playing, regardless of if I knew I wasn't or not. And I think it's been the same way this week. So I'm just ready to go.
So there you go. That is Sammy Watkins, Christian Watson, both getting ready for the game coming up this Sunday, back on the practice field again tomorrow. So good stuff from both, and good stuff from our guy, Mike Clemens, as well. So a lot of fun. We're going to be covering it all week without a doubt. Hey, one other note I wanted to make a mention of regarding the ride this past Sunday. And again, don't forget, look for the video coming up later this afternoon, this evening, on a lot of the details and such, and just kind of wrapping things up. But if you were watching on Fox 6 and the coverage of the motorcycle ride this past weekend, both Joe Hennis from Smoke in the Water and Sloppy Joe's and our friend Dan Della from Social House were on TV, and both supporting of the ride. Joe's got his ride coming up that benefits Fisher House, Wisconsin on September 25th. I think the 25th or the 23rd. I can't remember what date it is. But I think it's the 25th. It's September 25th. Yes, thank you. But Dan Della was on as well from Social House. And remember we did the live broadcast out there when they did the grand reopening of Social House after the renovation was done. And they had that weekend for Fisher House, Wisconsin. Dan presented a check for over $2,000 that they raised to benefit Fisher House, Wisconsin. And I wanted to make a mention of that and not fail to mention that, because that's a lot of effort and that's a lot of kindness. So again, we've got a lot of good people that support not only this program, but some of the charities in the area, and Dan and Joe and just a couple of them. But when you see them, give them a high five or a congratulations or a handshake and just say great job, because what it is they do for Fisher House, Wisconsin, for military members, veterans, and their families, it doesn't go unnoticed. And hopefully you support them as well. But a check for over $2,000. So thanks so much, man. That's really cool. That's really cool. That'll do it for today. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. Packers back in the practice field as well. We'll talk some about the Brewers and the contest today. Oh, going to be a lot of good stuff tomorrow. Also, we'll have probably Mike Clemens in Green Bay as well. And that's just off the top of my head. We got a lot more coming up. But until we talk again tomorrow, look for the video over the Facebook fan page, the Facebook page that is Big Unit Poker Run, and over on the Instagram page as well. But until we talk